man. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am, oh, that's loud. I am Josh, that is Jason, that is Vince, and that is our guest tonight, Brian Staveley. He is, he was recommended to us by Dave Weiss, which I had a great conversation with Dave Weiss. I thought it was an awesome show. Brian is the host of Dose of Reality podcast. He's been broadcasting on podcasts since 2010, having in-depth discussions on 9/11, psychological warfare operations, media fakery, and obviously the Mandela Effect. And tonight we're going to be talking about that specifically. And I asked Dave Weiss about this, and I asked, he says, I know someone about the Mandela Effect. And we talked afterwards, and he's like, this guy's a subject matter expert. I'm like, well, I want to have him on because that's one of my favorite topics to talk about is the Mandela Effect. We did a show, Insomniac Hour, I think it was an hour and a half or 2 hours about this one topic, and we discussed multiple theories about how this could be. Looking at CERN and stuff like that, I wasn't too into the CERN theory, but looking at other theories of pop possibilities. Brian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about you? I feel good. I'm glad you guys have already delved into the topic a little bit,
Heck yeah, man. It's an interesting topic. We were just talking before this happened, before we went live, about the Hindenburg. And this is what red pilled me on the Mandela Effect. I had heard about it in passing, really didn't give two hoots about it. And we were talking about it on a show. Is this show about a year ago, we were talking about it, and I'm like, no, it crashed in Germany on its maiden voyage. And Jay's like, yeah, it crashed and people are like, no, it crashed in New Jersey, and they're all posting it. I'm like, no, it didn't. And now you're telling me there's actually survivors.
Yeah. And I don't see you live on YouTube. It didn't go live yet,
YouTube didn't go live. Let's make sure you have the right one. It's live.
5.5 on YouTube. Here you go.
Here, you got the link to him?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a different link? Okay, because I sent everybody over to the link that you guys gave me.
Oh, I don't know what link he sent. Did Amber send it?
Yeah, and you have a whole chat full of people. It says Conversations on the Fringe, special guest Brian Staveley, Altered Reality, Mandela Effect.
That should be it. Try doing a Control-Alt-5, see if that helps. Because I'm on it right now.
Yeah, pull this chat out.
What'd you do to my YouTube, Vince?
I didn't do it, I swear.
I know, I'm joking. Let's figure this out. I want to get this figured out real quick.
It looks like it's working.
It's working on my end. I want to go ahead, check it. I'm going to go in.
Yeah, you have two different streams. You must have two different streams set up. I see two different groups of people.
There was two streams.
Yeah, so I sent all my people over to that other one, and I can't drop a link because I don't have a wrench. Maybe you can let them know in the chat and send them over to the new one.
Wow, what happened there? That is odd. Okay, well. Let me do this. I can go in here real quick. Looks like everybody's there. There, boom. And I'm going to go pin the message.
Yeah, there you go. Pin it. Perfect. Cool. Didn't mean to throw you off. I just want to make sure you know.
You're right. It looks like I was complaining about Restream. I was sitting there complaining about Restream. And it didn't, for some reason, when you go in there and you select your event, it didn't select this event for some reason. Anyways.
Cool. Good catch, though.
Yeah, thank you much for that. I'm going to go ahead and pin that one. And new link. There we go. Okay, good.
There you go. They'll figure it out.
Yep. Cool. And if anybody is out there that's just checking that out, make sure everybody gets over there. So if you're going between the two YouTubes, check back in periodically and get people. Actually, I'm just going to delete that link altogether so nobody goes in there. That'll be the best thing to do. Anyways, man, tell us about this, the survivors of the Hindenburg. Let's start there. I think that's an interesting part.
Yeah, well, now in this, I always remembered that everybody had died in that disaster. And now in this reality, there's about almost 70. It's like high 60, 68, 69 people that survived, and there's only like 30 something that died. And I mean, how did they survive? I mean, that thing was blown to bits in the sky, like in a big, huge fireball of a flame. You know, that's crazy to me, dude.
That's what? Hindenburg.
The one thing that I find interesting about this Hindenburg one, Brian, is that there's several different images available. And so the image that I remember from school is it taking off and hitting a tower. That's where it blows up, right? And then there's other pictures where it's kind of like off the ground a little bit in almost like a farm field. And I'm like, how does it hit a tower and then raise off the ground and then blow up, right? So there's people out there, when we had this discussion about these different images, it's really just, the whole Mandela Effect is kind of wild in itself. But so when you study this, have you looked into these different images?
No, I haven't really studied the images of the Hindenburg too much. Just the whole difference in the death toll is what really blew me away. I didn't know that there was that much of a discrepancy in the images, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when we looked at the images, there was one image that had the tower in the background. There was one image that didn't have the tower in the background.
Right.
That's correct.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a mind fuck. I mean, it is. It's kind of weird, man.
It's extremely weird.
Yeah, the historical ones are some of the biggest ones for me. I mean, my biggest one is a historical one. Are you familiar with Black Tom?
No, what is this?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Uh-oh.
Well, in my reality, right, or where I come from, whatever you want to call what's going on, right? Who knows, like, what even the right words are, right? But from where I come from, I was always taught that the first major foreign attack on U.S. soil was Pearl Harbor, and then 9/11 was the second one. And not only was I taught this in school, not only did I always hear this growing up, like you read my bio earlier, and my start was with 9/11, media fakery, and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, I spent so much time looking into these topics, and anybody in these types of circles really has dabbled in a lot of probably what they would call conspiracies or whatever, maybe false flags, this type of stuff. And nobody's ever heard of Black Tom. And usually when I bring it, I mean nobody. I asked you guys, even you guys who've been looking at the Mandela Effect didn't hear about it, but I've asked like 1,000 people Black Tom. Now in this reality or timeline or whatever people think it is, right? In 1916, 2 German spies snuck in through New Jersey and blew off 1 million pounds of TNT on an island called Black Tom Island. And then that explosion killed 5 people in New York, injured 120, and damaged the Statue of Liberty so bad that nobody's ever been to the torch. Now, as crazy as that is, and some people want to say, oh, well, they lie about history and this, that, and the other thing, and they hid it. How could you hide something that massive, right? But besides that, and you can see tons of pictures of destruction and everything now. But besides that, like, I know people that have been to the torch. I've spoken to them. But in this reality, they could have never been in the torch. The torch has been closed because the explosion sent a whole bunch of shrapnel at the torch, and it damaged it so bad. And in this reality, nobody's been in it since before 1916.
I've heard
That's
this.
crazy.
I've heard this, and I tried to make reference to it, and I thought it was not the Statue of Liberty, but you're right. It is the torch of the Statue of Liberty. And I know people who've been in the torch of the Statue of Liberty. We're from Western New York. I know people who've been in the Statue of Liberty and the torch of the Statue of Liberty. There was a high school trip at our school to New York where they went to the torch. And so this is like, wait, what?
So where was the Statue of Liberty located for you?
Well, that's another thing. It was always in Ellis Island, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ellis Island. And, for anybody that's like, of course, Ellis Island. Well, now it's always been Liberty Island.
Yep.
And to think that the Statue of Liberty always sat on Liberty Island and we would misconstrue that for another island, I mean, you got to be really reaching there. Now there's a whole extra island there, plus the Black Tom Island. Yep. And another thing, too, for me, that really makes it resonate is the imagery of 9/11, okay? I studied the imagery so much, as I'm sure a lot of people did, but I mean, I really spent a lot of time on it. And just the shots of the skyline from across the water and where the statue was in the imagery, and now the statue is way off to the left, dude.
Ha.
It's like insane. It's so crazy looking. And now the statue, she's also taken a foot off the platform. It keeps incrementally changing. The book that she's holding, if you look at the book now, it has these, if you want, bring up images. If you look at the book that she's holding, it has angled cuts in the top of it now instead of a straight edge like it used to have. And the biggest cosmetic change for me, because now she has an all gold flame, okay? But I don't remember the all gold flame until about 4 or 5 years ago. But now in this reality, they say that flame, the all gold's been there since 1986. Now, I know there were renovations in 86, but they didn't put a 24 karat gold flame in there for almost my entire life. I'm 44 now. That's like 30 something years ago, right?
Yeah, no. I'm looking at it now. What? This?
Yeah.
In the lettering in the book.
That blows my mind.
All the lettering's gold as well.
Yeah. And she has chains around her legs, too.
And
You look from the back. See it? Yep. And the face, honestly, the face has become more like masculine than it was.
Yeah.
That's really hard to prove to somebody and tough to call it a Mandela effect, but I know that's part of it as well. But I wouldn't really hop on that with people that are new to it, but all that other stuff is huge. And we see it incrementally. That's the thing with these Mandela effects and people that say, oh, you're just misremembering, We see stuff incrementally change that we're studying. So once the Statue of Liberty was off Ellis Island, we're studying that thing. Like, we're constantly looking at, like, what's going on here? And then all these things start happening to it, you know? People really want to dismiss this topic really easily. And this is how they do it. We should probably start here because it's very important. Yeah, the Mandela effect gets addressed in the media. But it's addressed because that's how they want to gatekeep it, because they know people are talking about it. So what do? They put out things and tell you about things like Curious George and the Monopoly Man. And yeah, those are legit Mandela effects. But they don't talk about residue. They don't talk about incremental changes. They don't talk about flip-flops. They don't talk about historical changes. They don't talk about Bible changes, geography, anatomy. They keep it where it's at a level where you think, okay, this is stuff that just repackaged, rebranded, you know, and then people will just dismiss it offhand and think, oh yeah, it's this phenomenon thing, but it's really, you know, things have just been changed. When in reality, if you go and look for the original copy of whatever the Mandela effect is that I present or anybody that's legit, you're not going to be able to find it unchanged. And people will say, oh, well, books are reissued, these are republished, companies and logos and brands can change names. Those things are simple to look up. They never come back and show you, hey, in 1987, this is when so-and-so company sold this product to this, and that's why Stovefish Stovetop Stuffing has never existed in this reality. I don't know if you know that, but it's never existed.
Wait, Stovetop Stuff. Wait, what?
Stovefish Stovetop Stuffing never existed in this reality. It's always been craft. At one time, General Mills or another company like that owned it, and there was a business transaction, but there is nothing to do with Stouffer's in there. I ate that crap all the time, dude.
Do you know the jingle? Do you know the jingle, Josh?
No, go ahead.
No, what's the jingle?
Do you guys remember Jason?
The Stouffer's jingle?
Yeah.
No.
I think there's a jingle.
Hold on. So you know what's interesting too is I want to point this out is if you go to the television series Fringe, their alternate reality. Their DOD headquarters was on Liberty Island to where the Statue of Liberty was put.
Wow.
I don't know if you knew that. Yes, their alternate reality,
I didn't know that.
the Statue of Liberty was on Liberty Island.
And that's really
that was the head of the DOD.
Wow, that's interesting. And it's interesting you bring up things like DOD before I get off track and forget. So government agencies, all Mandela affected, right? Do you guys know about these ones? Like, what's the DEA stand for?
Drug Enforcement Agency.
Wrong.
What is it?
What?
It's always been the Drug Enforcement Administration now in this reality. I knew it was the Drug Enforcement Agency. I have 2 videos on this. Full of residue. Everybody knows. Watch any movie.
Administration?
Google it. It'll correct you. If you put DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration.
So, okay. I'm loving this. I want you to keep on putting these out there, and then we're going to talk on theory of why.
Well,
sure.
Go ahead, Vince. Go ahead, Vince. What's the jingle?
I don't know what the jingle is, but obviously there's no jingle in this reality. But I think I heard people say, and I remember a jingle. It was like this: "How are you telling me there's no Stouffer stovetop, whatever?" But Brian mentioned residue.
Yeah.
What?
Let me explain it?
Residue?
Yeah.
Please.
Sure. So, and this is one of the most important things. People want to say it's just our memories. We all just have like a collective memory issue. Residue is the leftover physical evidence that for one reason or another has not changed to the new reality. In most cases, what residue is anything that's the unofficial. So if a movie changes, all the copies will change. But if people made drawings of it, there remain Halloween costumes, on and on and on down the line, right? So that's what residue is. And sometimes there's even unchanged residue. Like, for instance, there's 2 Mandela effects that have a lot of unchanged original residue where, like, even by the Mandela effect standards, like, it shouldn't exist. Like, for instance, the Volkswagen logo, right? The Volkswagen logo used to be a V and a W that was merged. It was all one smooth logo. Now there's this big break in it that was never there before, but it's always been there in this reality now. You can still find, in fact, a friend of mine, I stayed at his house for a couple weeks in California this past summer. He has a 1970-something Volkswagen bus, and it still has 3 original unchanged Volkswagen logo hubcaps on it. Yet his engine block has changed, and it has the new thing, the new version of it on there. And there's 2 Mandela effects of Volkswagen. A lot of people miss the second one. This is anchor for me. My first brand new car that I bought was a 1997 Volkswagen Jetta GT. And, I was like, 19, 20. So you buy dumb stuff, like you're looking for headlight covers and stuff like this. Now, when I did that, there were 2 spellings for Volkswagen. In America, it was W-A-G-O-N. And in German, it was W-A-G-E-N. And I specifically would always run into that when I was looking for the parts. And then I would know if it was German or American parts. Now in this reality, there's never been a W-A-G-O-N spelling. And it's W-A-G-E-N worldwide. So all the cars in America, even if you own one, it'll say Volkswagen with an EN. Even if you own a Volkswagen, 20 years old, there'll be a break in the logo. Nearly all the auto companies have changed. Kia, there's no more A. It's a lambda now, like the Greek letter.
I noticed this.
No slash through the A. Yeah.
Are they going to tell us
That's
it's
crazy.
always been like that?
Yeah, and it always has. And that's a pattern. That's
Wait,
also on
Kia's
Samsung.
always
Look
been
at
like
any
that?
Samsung car. Yep, Samsung too now. Samsung's always had a lambda now.
Kia's never always, no way. Kia logo, no way. Kia logo used to be the Kia. Yeah.
Yeah, now the A is just it looks like basically an upside down V is what it looks like now.
Right.
The Ford logo now has that curl. I'm sure you guys are familiar. The Ford has that extra curl thing in the F now. It's funny. You want to talk about residue? Henry Ford's actual signature on a piece of paper is written the way the Ford logo used to be without the curl in the F, and it's modeled after his signature.
Dude, I did not know that.
And they say we have no evidence. How about this one? Procter and Gamble, Proctor, is now Procter, and I have videos showing files that they patented. Okay, anything they filed a patent for before 2014, it was Procter, Proctor. Anything after, it's the new way.
Whoa.
So there is just loads of residue everywhere.
Oh
It's
my
insane.
God. I'm looking at P&G right now. No way.
Yeah, always been that way in this reality now. Proctor with an ER.
What a trip.
Crazy, right? So if you have anybody that's listening, if you have any old Procter & Gamble cleaning products in the sink, even better, in your garage, go look at the label, and it's going to end in an ER, even though it was an OR.
There's a certain amount of them that can't change, and there's something about it. And I think that these hinge on 2 different specific dates in time in history, 1992 and 2010. Mm-hmm. Now, those 2 dates are... Well, 1992 is basically the birth of the modern day internet. Now, here's the thing, is we cannot really validate that this wasn't happening before that time, right? Because
I think it's always been going on.
There you go. Exactly. It's always been going on. But if anybody noticed it, it'd be like, oh, well, it's what are you going to do? Go to the library in the middle of the night when you're drinking a few beers and talking about it? What are you going to do? Go to the computer in 1942? No, it wasn't until our digital infrastructure came around that we started noticing these things, and that was predominantly 2010. That's why that second date is in there, because that's when the cloud actually became alive and people actually started utilizing it. Phones became to that point where they started interconnecting to the cloud, and social networks gained their steam, and data and information started exchanging at a mass level. 1992 was the original time frame, because this is when our digital infrastructure, AOL, all this started coming about and people started communicating. These are the two time frames where we start to see all these newer modern day Mandela effects that we're talking about, everything from Mandela on forth, occur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So the question is go ahead, Jay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Brian, have you been able to, or have you had any of your viewers send you stuff that actually shows these like older pictures or older?
Dude, are you kidding me? Yeah, dude. I got.
Perfect.
I got one right here. Okay. Let's talk about some Bible changes real quick. All right.
All right.
Then I'm going to show you some of this residue right here. All right. And again, I am not a Bible guy at all. And I think that's interesting because I can look at it from a very neutral perspective and just look for the changes. And people are like, well, how can you talk about the changes? I can talk about the changes because I can see when the changes happen. I can see the way people always recite the way that they used to be. I can see the residue. There's lots of ways. Plus, there's changes that are happening. For instance, before I get into this residue, let's talk a little bit more about government agencies, and then we'll tie it into the Bible Mandela effects. So,
All right.
We were talking about the DEA changed, right? You all thought it was a drug enforcement agency. Another thing that changed just before, I'll be careful on your channel here. We don't want to go down the other road too much, but just before the current thing that's going on in the world right now was rolled out a year and a half ago, a lot of things changed that had to do with that were tied directly to that. For instance, the CDC used to be called the Center for Disease Control. Mm-hmm. Now, it's always been the Centers for Disease Control for the last 40 years. It was the Center for Disease Control. I can show you. I have a whole video on that too. Most of these ones I talk about, I have like 100 single videos on each, a single Mandela effect, breaking them down. It was the Center for Disease Control. So that changed. Also, Johns Hopkins University, who puts out all the stats for what's currently going on, they are now Johns Hopkins. So both of them got an S added to it. Also, another thing that gets brought up a lot to do with people's health information is the HIPAA Act. It's always in the spotlight now, right? HIPPA, but now it's HIPAA. Always has been. All these things have changed. And then the biggest one. Now we're going to talk about the Bible. How familiar are you guys with the Bible? Anybody here pretty familiar? Or are you guys all
We're all right with it. We're all right with it, yeah.
Anybody know what Matthew 18:20 is?
Is that lions and lambs?
Nope. I'll start you off. We're two or...
Okay, well, I guess
I'll say it for the audience that might...
Yeah,
it's fine. I'll just say
yeah, go ahead.
Matthew 18:20 used to say, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am. Okay?
Right.
Where two or more are gathered in my name. Matthew 18:20 changed to where two or three are gathered in my name just before they started telling you how many people you could have gatherings. All this happened at once. And people say that this isn't important. I think it ties directly in it. And then when that happened, I made a video. You can go back and look. I made a video just a few months into the current psy-op, and I said, I think that there's going to be some people that are going to use this to terrify Christians to stay in their house. What do you know? Governor Holcomb from Indiana came out. He used the Mandela Effect scripture, and he's like, Jesus said, where two or three are gathered, not where 200 or 300. You need to stay in your house. Wear them, right down the line. And I'm like, wow, this is powerful stuff. So that's one of my favorite ones to go at. And we'll talk about lion and lamb soon, because that's like the best known one. But the Matthew 18:20, that's the one I go to the most. You see, what I do on my channel too is, there's a lot of people that aren't on board with the Mandela Effect, and they're on board with all these other topics, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard. And I know that they're all Mandela affected. I know they're all going through the changes because we all live in this reality. You don't have a choice. You live in this reality, and the reality is fluid. We're all experiencing it. You can deny it all you want, but if we have a conversation with somebody, get them to fill in the blanks, you're going to prove that they're Mandela affected.
Right.
So what I like to do is I go after big channels, and not on like hit pieces, just to show, hey, they're going through what I'm going through. So maybe they'll start talking about it, hopefully, because they have a big following. But if not, at least their audience will. So I always call people out on it, make little short videos. And two or more are gathered in my name. I have gotten every truther person that's in my circles, at least, in videos saying Matthew 18:20 with two or more are gathered, including the people that say the Mandela Effect can't change scripture. And then their next out will be, well, it's not changed in the original. Go back and look at the Greek. Now it says 2 or 3.
All the way back then.
I love this guy. This is awesome.
All the way back. All the way back,
So
dude.
trippy.
So the Lion and the Lamb you brought up, and I won't need to quiz you guys on it. You guys are obviously up to
In the
speed
Lord's
on that.
Prayer.
Sure. So the Lion and the Lamb, though, we can elaborate on that because that's an incremental one that needs to be discussed. So obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, I'll bring you up to speed real quick. Isaiah 11:6, what animal lies with the lamb? If you thought the lion, you would be wrong. Now, in this reality, it's always been the wolf. So first off, I mean, what's the message here, right? Now the wolf's dwelling with the lamb, like the wolf's in the house, wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, come on. There's obviously a message here, right? So this is why I get frustrated when people are no big deal, Listen, when I say the Bible changed, I'm not a fool. I know that there's many versions and translations. But if you're going to tell me that it's not changed, and you remember Matthew 18:20, where 2 or more are gathered, or Isaiah 11:6, the lion and the lamb, pull out your copy and debunk me. I've been waiting for years. Just pull it out. None of you can do it. None of you. Now, there are Bible changes, like you brought up the Lord's Prayer. There are Bible changes that are specific to certain versions of the Bible, and I am always specific. But these two are universal changes. So when the lion changed to the lamb 4, 5, 6 years ago, whenever it was, for most people, I found evidence of it happening way before. I mean, I'm talking decades before people talking about it, okay? But for the most people, it was 4, 5, 6 years ago. And when that changed, what happened is it changed in the King James Version first. So what would happen is the argument would be presented. Hey, look, the lion and lamb's been supernaturally changed. It says the wolf. So what the other people would do would be like, oh, well, your King James Bible's just messed up. He was a Freemason, and then they would come back with different versions of the Bible, and it still said lion and the lamb. But then what happened is all those versions now have incrementally changed. So all those arguments are bunked now. So all their books say wolf, and they've changed in front of them.
Yep.
Fortunately, most people, most pastors, nobody's going to address it, but I'm going to keep pressing them to address it, Really. So if you're listening to the show and you know people that are pastors that are denying the Mandela Effect, especially people that are attacking it, email me, ricefoot@gmail.com, because I'm not having that. Because this is the supernatural changes.
You are so from the East Coast. I love it.
Yes, I love it.
Dude, what is the point of speaking about the Bible and God and all this if then there's going to be signs, in my opinion, we'll get to theories a little more later, but in my opinion, very much tied to signs from the Creator. So we're seeing signs, in my opinion, and you're just going to deny it right down the line?
Yeah,
whether they be warning signs or signs to help you out. It's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to ask you that because let's just say that I would think that you're pretty current on all the events that have happened and the changes and all of the stuff. Are we really coming out of the reality of this control, mind control, and everything else, and we're shifting over to a reality that's different, right? That is,
buddy, this is the spiritual gateway. This is the spiritual gateway out of the physical matrix, in my opinion. And that is what God is trying to show us. And he's trying to show us all of this artificial stuff around us, especially the lying agencies, like I told you. And there's a lot more things in historical events we'll talk about, where more and more lies are changing, whether it's in 9/11, the event in Connecticut, all these things have Mandela effects in them, and we'll talk about some of them. It's wild, dude. So for me, I think what this is to show us that it's a fluid reality. In my opinion, we're on God's green earth, but it's basically the devil's deception of all the artificial stuff around us. What's fake around us, right? The school, the medicine, the space programs, the news, everything. It's all artificial, man.
Well,
everything. The division.
I can actually account for that. So one thing that people know about me, at least on this show, is that I've studied the occult for well over 25 years, esotericism, practicing hermeticis. In the esoteric teachings, Lucifer is God. When God separates light from darkness and lets there be light, this is the creation of Lucifer, the first angel in the pantheon. And Lucifer is light, is the visible spectrum of light. This is why it is the great deceiver, because it reflects and refracts off everything. It hits the rods and cones in your eyes, produces electrical signaling, goes to your cerebral cortex, where no light actually can go, which means that light is actually deceptive in every means and sense, and therefore you are being deceived at everything you currently look at, and that is the workings of Lucifer.
Yep. And I'll tell you where I think Lucifer plays into the Mandela Effect. So I believe that it's basically the creator do. So I'll just tell you what I don't believe to make it easier for people. I don't believe it's CERN. I think that's crap.
Yep.
I think CERN is just, for me, it's, and I know maybe you weren't on board with Dave on all the FE stuff. I don't know how you feel about NASA as a whole, though, but I think NASA's crap.
NASA's full of shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all
100%.
That's all we need. NASA's crap. I look at CERN as underground NASA. That's what I think CERN is. It's underground NASA. Instead of on this level, it's this level of bullcrap. Okay. So I don't think CERN's causing the Mandela Effect, but what I do think is that the mainstream media, mainstream science, and the powers of whatever this place are, they would love you to think that. So they lead you in directions. So when people first get in the Mandela Effect, you didn't see the guy with the Bond sign and at the CERN commercial, and you didn't see the ceremony. Yeah, I see the ceremony. That doesn't make the science real. You know what I mean? You could do a satanic ceremony, but that doesn't make the science real.
Correct. As well as you can fake a moon landing, but it does. Yeah, exactly. But going to CERN is, I think CERN was developed because they wanted to study the Mandela Effect and see what was causing it and try to hack reality themselves.
That's a good idea. That's a good theory. I like that. So the other thing I don't think it is, I don't think it's, and I can put these together for the same reason. I don't think it's time travel, timeline jumpings, or old Earth, new Earth. And it's simple. We wouldn't have residue and we wouldn't have incremental changes. Everything would happen at once, right? If we jump from one timeline to another, we would all see the same Mandela effects, which we don't. We see most of the same, but we don't agree on all of them, even things that resonate with us, like maybe 80% of them with other highly affected people, right? So we wouldn't have residue. Why would we have residue if there was time travel? Now, first off, these are theories. I'm not trying to tell you how freaking time travel works. I don't have a clue, but I just think there wouldn't be residue and there wouldn't be incremental changes. I think we're in one reality that's constantly in flux. Now, where I think that the devil or the dark side, whatever plays in, they want to hide that from you. So when these people, sometimes you'll talk to them about a Mandela effect, they'll say it the way they remember. Then all of a sudden they'll take that update in front of you and start reciting like they're reading out of freaking Wikipedia. I think that's a consciousness infiltration from the dark side, if you will, trying to get them to not realize the supernatural. And if you think about everything that I'm telling you, everything science does, they hate the idea of God, creator, all this, and that's what they would love to take credit for, or at least that they'd love to at least hide it from you, right? Hey, it's misremembering. It's not happening. But if you realize it's happening, it's us. It's CERN, or, that's what they want you to believe.
Yeah. And that's what the algorithms do, is the algorithms actually control the dictation, your interpretation and dictation of what that idea or that thought can actually be. You're talking a little of the theory there. I had a dream a while back, and this was actually after my father had passed away. I had this dream of my father getting into a car accident, flying through the windshield, and then waking up in his bed after he supposedly passed from the car accident. And it got me thinking about life itself. Is what if life was just this continuous process, that we actually never die? It's just, once we die, we actually just wake up in bed at 34 years old and like, holy shit, what just happened? And now we're in a different dimensional aspect of itself. There's also the context of converging Earths. What if the planet blew up, hit by an asteroid, the sun exploded, something like that? And that same concept applied where everybody died and then was reborn again, right? Started all over. And I guess it's not really a new Earth theory. It's a little bit different. But if you get into
that theory a lot too,
right?
The everybody died theory. A lot of people think everybody might have died in 2012,
but it's continuously happening. It doesn't stop. It's every year it happens, and we go to a new parallel. But if you go back to the foundations of like Enochian magic, of esotericism, of occultism, of what the real foundations teach you, this is where I think the Mandela effect really comes into play, because we start to understand it from this level. We create our own reality tunnel, right? We
Exactly.
can
Yep.
magicians can influence reality, and the way they do that is they utilize their thoughts to produce action. That action goes out there and stimulates their environment some way to produce a reaction from the environment. And over the years, they develop rituals and processes to influence reality to their benefit, to produce something to happen. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, see, the thing is sometimes the universe can't make that influence happen in this reality. And it has to go to a different dimensional level, move your reality tunnel to a different dimensional level, because that's still the path of least resistance. And I think what we have is this convergence of multiple paths of least resistance aligning. And they're all floating through these various different dimensionalities of Earth in various different dimension existence. And they're all just converging into one thing. And I think it's exactly what you said earlier. It's this coming out of this controlled matrix paradigm that we've been locked into for eons.
Guy, the quicker this world over here goes to shit, that whole circus that's going on right now, the more this Mandela Effect is speeding up. And what's it all heading to? That's lots of different people's theories, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. And I don't look at it as a gloom and doom situation. That's for damn sure. I look at this place as like a test. I look at it. Do you remember Choose Your Own Adventure books? I look at it as like a God's Choose Your Own Adventure book. And basically, people like us, we go through, we make cognitive decisions and make choices. These NPCs that just go by the script, well, they're going to fail. They're not doomed to hell, in my opinion, but they're coming back for a repeat, you know, because they need to. They're going to fail the test. But I think right now, why don't we, how about I just run through some real quick, and then we'll elaborate. You know what? You want to talk about Isaiah 11:6. I got this Bible right here. Not a Bible, right?
Well, yeah, let's do it. But also, I want to talk about this real quick. Someone just said Grand Central Station was always Grand Central Terminal. It's never Grand Central Station.
Yeah, now in this reality, the train station has always been Grand Central Terminal, not Grand Central Station.
Jay, our father used to answer the phone. What would he say?
Grand Central Station.
Grand Central Station, how can I help you?
It's like Grand Central Station around here.
Yep.
Yep.
I know how it goes, dude.
And now it's Grand Central Terminal, dude. You know,
Yeah,
are you familiar with the prophecies of Kim Clement?
I don't think I am.
Oh, you need to
Yeah,
check
so
them out.
one of the things Kim Clement said was that we would have two presidents, and you almost have. And so he actually predicted a lot of things that have come true. He passed away in 2021 or
2016. 2016.
Oh, 2016.
Right
yeah.
before Trump was inaugurated, he passed away.
Right. But one of the interesting things is he said there will be a dual presidency. In your previous statement, you maybe it rang to my head was maybe Kim Clement saw the convergence of these two realities where Biden and Trump were both still president. I just find it really, really interesting. You're kind of blowing me away with some of the stuff people say.
I love it.
Yeah,
Man.
and again, I see somebody said slight changes. We didn't get to the biggest stuff yet, but if you say slight changes, like if the text on the books is sitting in your house and been in your family, you could have a King James Bible from 1611 in your family, and the words in your own book that hasn't left your house have changed. So whether it's just words in a book or something more, that's a supernatural change. We will get to bigger stuff like anatomy, geography, bigger historical ones. But while we're still talking about the Lion and the Lamb, a friend of mine, John, sent me this, right? This is from Ambassador College. It's a Bible college that existed for about 50 years over in Pasadena, California, right? This Bible college, now, you know all the Bibles that change that say lion and lamb, they say wolf.
Mm-hmm.
This emblem on here has, let me shut my green screen off. Hang
Yeah,
on.
no, I got you.
Okay. So this emblem right here has the lion and lamb etched in it. And I don't know if you can read the text, but it says the lion and the lamb still. But the reason I think it's still on here, they at the end of the verse, they etched in their own little motto. I forget what the few words are, but it's unchanged on here. Even better than that, I made a couple videos. They're on my channel. We're not going to dig them up right now, but they are quick if people want to get them later.
Yeah.
This Bible college actually flew in the famous MGM Lion to film a lion and lamb commercial for their college, and they did it twice to film a whole lion and lamb scene. They flew in the lion from the MGM studios with the trainers and everything they would need to do something like that, and they filmed it. But in this reality, It's always been the
Oh
wolf.
my
You know?
God.
Yeah, and we were talking about Matthew 18:20. So something else I do, I changed up my flow a lot last year, because of what's going on in the world. So, I was doing a lot of Mandela Effect videos and all this. Now all of a sudden I'm traveling out to California to talk to people in the street, try to convince them to keep their businesses open and people not to live in fear and that type of stuff. But I'm walking up to yeah, man, that's really what I did a lot. I mean, I took 14 flights with no mask, just to show people not live in fear during the height of this.
Love it.
We can talk about that if you want. It's up to you. Let me know. But Huntington Beach is a place I would go because they weren't pushing that propaganda over there. You could go there. Nobody's harassing you about nothing. And people are more open-minded. So I talk to them. There's people preaching on the street with the Bible, they're preaching. So I walk up to them. This is all on camera. I walk up to them. Oh, what do you got there? What are you doing? Oh, I'm preaching, Jesus, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, do you mind if I ask you a little bit about the Bible? Oh, yeah. And I'll ask them, hey, could you tell me what Matthew 18:20 is? All of them, always, where two or more are gathered. And I make them open up their Bible on camera, and you can see their face, And some of them are perceptive to it. Some of them try to brush it off. I blew one guy's mind the last time I was out there. I think it was in like early August. He was like, oh my God. And I got him with the lion and the lamb too. I got him with a few other ones. Now you talked about the Lord's Prayer. That's another one. You want to tell me why that's big for you? And then we'll elaborate on that, or why you brought,
people were talking about it here in the chat.
So the Lord's Prayer is one you got to be careful with, because the Lord's Prayer, unlike the lion and the lamb in Matthew 18:20, it's not a universal one. It's very different in each version.
Right.
The version most people are familiar with is the King James Version. And the King James Version is butchered now. The biggest changes in the King James Version is where it used to say,
that's in trespasses.
Yes. Oh, there's even more than that too, even before you get there. It used to say, our Father who art in heaven. Now it says, our Father which art in heaven. And it used to say on earth, and now it says in earth. And also the trespasses has changed to debts and debtors. All in the Lord's Prayer. In the King James Version, also, as soon as you open the Bible, God created the heavens and the earth. Heavens is now singular, and it's now God created the heaven and the earth. The word matrix is in the King James Bible about 7 times. Jesus is carrying a couch. Moses is carrying tables instead of tablets. Jesus was hung in a tree in Act 5:30.
What?
Planets is in the Bible. Gravity is in the Bible.
Oh my gosh, dude. Tables?
You can, and you guys don't believe me, you can go to BibleHub.com and you can search all these changes, and of course you can pull out your own copy and check. Yeah.
Where was Jesus hung in there?
Act 5:30. Jesus is either hung or slew in a tree. Depends on which version of the Bible. Hung, slew, hanged. Yeah, the King James is one of those words. Yeah, check it out. It's crazy.
I'm kind of wondering if is Elvis and Jim Morrison still alive in this version of this reality?
Well, and also there's also words that are butchered in there. There's a lot of hyphens in there that weren't in there. There's a lot of different various changes that people are freaking the heck out about. No, it's and again, this is in your own Bibles, guys. If you have a KJV in your house and you know the Lord's Prayer, and you know it was our Father who art in heaven, and you know it had trespasses in it, all you have to do is pull it out, and you're going to see that that's not in your King James Version anymore. And I'm saying King James, not NKJV. Don't message me and say I'm wrong and then send me the NKJV. It's a different Bible. People do that all the time. And that one is very different in a lot of different versions. So I can't tell you what every version is because they're so different with the Lord's Prayer. But definitely the KJV is the way I said it there. And definitely the word matrix is in there 6 or 7 times in the KJV. Jesus is carrying a couch. It's crazy, dude. God is beaten off in a river at one point. Beating off in a river.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Exodus 13:12. That thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix. And every firstling that cometh of the beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's. What? Exodus 13:15. I sacrifice to the Lord all that openeth the matrix, being males. Exodus 34:19. All that openeth the matrix is mine. Numbers 3:12. Among the children of Israel, instead of all the firstborn that openeth the matrix among the children. Numbers 18:5. Everything that openeth the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord. What?
Yep,
This is
and
so
I saw somebody in the chat. Valerie says, "I have King James Bible from Mom's caretaker in the '60s, unchanged." No, you don't. If you do, you could get in touch with me, and we'll go live on the air and show it. But I know that that's not the case. You have a different version, or you have not checked yet, and you are assuming. And while you're on Exodus, how about this one? On Passover, instead of the angel of death doing the killing, God does the killing himself now. Check Exodus 12:12 and Exodus 12:29. Instead of the angel of death, it's the Lord himself doing the killing at Passover in the Bible in the 1611 KJV. 400 years old.
So
500 years
Exodus
old.
12:12, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Whoa.
Yep. So if anybody's going to say there's nothing going on, if you own a KJV, every change I said is in there, and the other ones I said that were universal, like Matthew 18:20, the Lion and the Lamb, those are in any version of the Bible you have. I challenge you to prove me wrong. I challenge you, and if you say Brian's ignoring me, I have the proof, then tell these guys and put it on there and embarrass me, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So listen. If you guys do have, so if someone out there does say what they have, okay, please take a picture of it and DM it to me immediately, and then we can validate it secondarily afterwards. Okay.
Moving video.
Okay, moving video.
Opening it. Yeah. You need that. It's easy to take a snapshot inside a book that's already.
So, guys, I just went to the Bible Gateway. I went to the King James Version, KJV, and you can do the search for the keywords.
So one of our listeners said, we got to watch the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. He says God will send the angel of death. Wondering if it changed.
No, it still says the angel of death in it. I think I actually used that clip as residue in one of my videos.
Really?
For the most part, movies and stuff will remain as residue, not always. If it's the movie, listen, so if there's a movie that is the Mandela Effect, right? It'll change, But if it's a movie referencing something else that's changed, usually that movie is like a parody of it, so it'll remain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So,
somebody, not to, because this is really interesting, but somebody just said that in this reality, Babe Ruth no longer points his bat.
What?
He does not.
Exactly.
What? So hold on. Stop. In Little League Baseball, I played for the Clippers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my coach used to call me the Little Bambino.
Yeah.
And every time I'd go up there, he'd be like, don't forget to point your bat, Bambino. And I'd point the left field.
Don't gas yourself up too much now, Bambino. That's hilarious.
But that's why they did it, because you got what?
Now when he goes up there, he goes up and he points a finger, and he doesn't even point it at the bleachers. He kind of points towards the pitcher like this, and that's the point. And what's real crazy is I did a video on this, right? And I forget what's the guy's name. Anyways, when he was 90 years old, he was a Hall of Fame pitcher that played back in that day, right? And the video was 30 years old. And he's the guy says in the video that Babe Ruth, and then he pointed the bat at the stands, and that for some reason he said something to the effect of someday people aren't going to remember that, though. It was really freaky how some of these things creep back into the reality. But there's some other sports changes too, but I do have a video on it. But let's hit a couple big ones real quick.
Yeah. I love being red-pilled.
And I'm from Lowell, Massachusetts, and somebody that's actually from my hometown is Ed McMahon. Okay. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this one, but if you're not, I'll introduce the audience to it. In this reality, what is Ed McMahon famous for besides the Tonight Show and Star Search? And it has to do with money.
Do you want to be a millionaire?
And not lifestyle.
Yeah.
And not lifestyle.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
Well, Publishers
PCH.
Clearinghouse. And he used to go around with giant checks in a balloon, ring people's doorbell, and surprise them with the checks. In this reality, he's never even been associated with that company. And he's from my hometown. Now he's always been associated with a different company, American Family Publishing, that they say that we are mixing it up. Nobody's ever heard of that till the Mandela Effect. But this is where it gets even crazier. You guys probably don't know this part about it, right? So when that happened, right, and we couldn't find any evidence of Ed McMahon working for Publishers Clearinghouse anymore because it had been Mandela affected, right? There was this one commercial of the new reality. American Family Publishing. And the story now was he worked with them for 5 years, and for a year he worked with Dick Clark. The backstory, right? That backstory evolved and changed. And now he's worked for American Family Publishing for like 15 years. And the crazy part is, so the Mandela Effect happened, right? What do the debunkers do? They just Google it. They come with the new reality. Oh, look at the American Family Publishing commercial. You're debunked, right? That's what they do. And that's all there was one commercial. One night, about, I think it was late 20 or early 2019, maybe. One night, all of a sudden, 15 years worth of American Family Publishing commercials came into this reality. And they had been published for years already. All of a sudden, they're all over YouTube. They're everywhere. I made a video of about 20 of them in a row. And in these commercials, Ed McMahon is mocking us. He's already dead. He's mocking us in the past. And he's like, American Family Publishing, the only one with my face on the envelope. And then there's another one where a guy almost starts to say Publishers Clearinghouse. He's like, whoa, 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 don't say that. All these crazy commercials that weren't even, as the reality is filling in incrementally. It's filling in. It could have just put those all at once.
This guy's awesome, man.
Dude, there's something wrong with it. It doesn't work perfectly.
So I want to help you out here. So we talked about this specific Mandela Effect. One of our audience members, they'll probably see this show tomorrow. I believe they live in Arizona. Their grandmother won the Publishers Clearinghouse, and Ed McMahon was at their freaking door. They got pictures of it. Their family won the Publishing Clearinghouse. It was published at PCH, and Ed McMahon is the one that showed up at their door. It was broadcast on TV.
Yep. That's crazy. And now that's never existed. So what I'm saying is, guys, we're not talking about fringe things. We're talking about the Bible. We're talking about Star Wars, Ed McMahon, Publisher Clearinghouse commercials. I'm not asking you and saying there's this obscure book that changed and now go find it. Go find me the Publishers Clearinghouse commercials with Ed McMahon that I recorded on VHS tapes in your attic. You can't do it because they've never existed in this reality. And I want to give a shout out to you in your chat. Valerie came back and she was wrong, like I said, and she corrected it. She said, sorry, it's called the Holy Bible St. Joseph's New Catholic Edition. Yeah, that's not the KJV. Your KJV has all the changes I said. So Ed McMahon never worked Published Clearinghouse. Now, here's the other thing deniers and debunkers will always say to me. It's never enough, right? First of all, you show them the residue, they don't want to look at it, right? Oh, it's just a product change. They'll say crazy stuff like, well, you need to show me the words coming out of the people's mouths that the change happened to. Now, that's often hard to do, but I keep doing it. Ed McMahon, in late 2000s, before he died, he was really hurting for money. Like, he got into a bad financial situation. He did a couple commercials for freecreditreport.com. And in one of the commercials, Ed McMahon is driving around in a white van singing a rap song about how he needs to go back and collect his giant checks. He goes to people's doors, rings the bell, and he asks them for his giant check back that he never gave them in this reality, right?
No way.
Like, how much more residue do you want? Yeah, dude.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
If you look up Ed McMahon rap song, you'll find it on YouTube, dude. Yeah.
This is the same like with how other Hollywood movies mocking other movies that are now Mandela effects. What was the one I'm thinking of? I think it was an SNL clip or something like that where they're what movie was
it? The Thinker. Will Ferrell did the Thinker Mandela effect.
Yeah.
So the Thinker statue. Let me take my headphones off. My hat on. So the Thinker. There's statues and monuments my hair's a mess. There's statues and monuments all over the world that are Mandela affected, okay? The Thinker's an incremental one too. So the Thinker statue started out, let me lower my desk a little. The Thinker statue started out with his fist to his forehead and his right elbow on his right knee. This was the Thinker statue, okay? Yeah. Then the Thinker statue in this reality shifted. And the fist came down to the chin. And we're watching it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's changing. Then it changed again.
Now the fucking
the fist opened up almost like a Vulcan thing, right? Like this underneath here, and he's like got this whole thing going like this.
Yep.
Then it got even crazier. A lot of people miss this. Now it's all contorted, and the right elbow is on the left knee, and he's like this, dude.
What?
Think
we just looked at this.
Yeah. Take a look.
So trippy, dude.
Take a look. Am I able to screen share in a minute? Can I screen share something?
Yeah, you should be able to screen share. Just let me know when you're gonna do it.
This is
Yeah, go ahead. Do what you're doing, and then I'm gonna pull up.
Holy
some
shit! Now it's on the left knee.
Yep.
What in the world? You guys can see it right there. It's switched knees.
We're not seeing your screen though. Every time you've been screen
Well,
sharing.
I know. No, I'm only doing it on OBS.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
But yeah, but you're good. You can good. You can go ahead and share the screen. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna screen share now. I'm gonna just share my second monitor. Here we go. So this woman right here, okay?
Yep.
She went to a thinker statue.
Yep.
And look what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened. You're gonna be like, well, what's going on here? Well, what's going on here is when a Mandela Effect changes a physical item, the photographs of it will change as well. When this woman took the photograph, she took it in front of the photo and did the pose that the photo was, that the statue was. But when the change happened and the fist came under the chin, she never changed in the photo, but the thinker statue did. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to show you something else. So the thinker statue is a famous pose, bodybuilding now. They actually do it to flex. Here's Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the right fist to the head.
Oh, shit.
School did a field
Recording
trip.
in progress.
Hold on.
This whole school.
There we go. Hold on 1 second. We crashed for shit. Someone doesn't want this shit out there. I gotta make sure OBS is still up.
Man. I never realized some of the stuff you're pointing out here.
Oh, I got more, dude. We're gonna get to some big stuff.
hold
We're
on.
starting off light.
What the heck's going on here?
Recording stopped.
Oh, so we're looking at your screen still, Brian. So you got the YouTube up.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check if we were live. Okay, so look at this one right here. So they go to the thinker statue, right? Now look at the statue. It's got the fist under the chin, not on the head. Look at every single kid. Fist to head, 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 fist to head. Why would they put the fist to the head if it's always been fist to chin and they're in front of the frickin' thing? When the reality shift happened, this was probably taken before 2016 or so, when most people noticed this change. This was taken before that, and then this thing shifted, and they are still the way that they were.
So Brian, you want to know what this actually looks like? Is whenever you push a server update out on computers, like if you're going to do like a mass update, like if I'm going to go and do a mass update for the Mandela Effect, I'm like, today we're going to change it and we're just going to do elbow to left knee. You're only changing that one spectrum area. So all these photos change just that one specific area and not the actual people because the software doesn't know how to detect that.
I think it's deeper than that. I think they can't change the human emotion. I think they can't change human emotion. I think that's why parodies always remain. I think that's why it's very interesting. There's residue, and we'll talk about music later. There's music changes, right? So the Mandela effects will be in the music, but every once in a while, you'll get residue from the original artist in live performances. Yeah, I mean, your theory is good too. I just think it's very much tied to human emotion. So what else I wanted to show you real quick? Other famous artwork, right? So we're gonna look at are you familiar with the creation of Adam?
Yeah.
So the creation of Adam is, before I put it on screen, we're gonna describe it, okay? The creation of Adam is on the roof of the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, and it depicts God reaching down to
God's
Adam,
finger,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pointing down to Adam, right?
Yep.
Not anymore. Now Adam is actually on an even level, if not a tad bit higher than God, and this is incremental, and that's pretty meaningful, right? So I'm going to show you what it actually looks like now. Oh yeah. Whoops. Hang on. Right here. Look how low God is now. There's no angle at all to it. Look at this.
Nope.
He used to come down like this.
Yes.
Now this is
Adam's. If I'm not mistaken,
old,
Adam's finger used to be going up like this.
Yeah, Adam's finger used to be out. Fingers were touching.
And that's why you have all. That's why you have all this residue. Right? Look at all this residue that's mocking it. All at an angle, right? See this, guys?
Yep.
Look at all this.
I'm very intimately familiar with this because the actual God inside of that's actually the brain, right? It's shaped very much like the brain. And it's supposed to be at an angle because it's supposed to be above the head.
Yep.
Because it's representing the brain above the head.
Incrementally, this has changed in front of us, okay? Also, the Last Supper has multiple changes in it. Also, one of my favorite ones is King Tut. Are you familiar with King Tut Mandela Effect?
No, never heard this one.
Okay, so perfect. If I was to ask you King Tut's headdress, what is on it that's notable, that stands out?
Oh, I don't remember.
Are you talking about King Tut's gold crown in his coffin?
Yeah, the whole face thing in the coffin. Yeah.
It was black and
blue.
gold, right?
It was blue here in the
yeah.
middle. Right?
Yeah. Is there any type of animals or anything around?
I want to say it was
anywhere?
a serpent.
Yeah, I remember a serpent as well.
Yeah, the serpent coming out of the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a serpent in the center of his forehead in my reality. In this reality, he now has a serpent. I'll show you. Wait, you guys see this? You're gonna love this. So first, I'll show you what I remember.
Well, because it was representing the third eye.
This is kind of like what I remember. This is a replica. You see the snake right here in the center?
It was a cobra coming out of
This
the
is
third
what
eye
it-
area.
But now it's
No.
always been this.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, if you
no.
look even in his tomb that's thousands of years old, or I don't trust any timelines, however old it is, it's mad old. He now has a bird and a snake on his forehead, and it's always been that way in this reality. So
That's symbolically wrong.
Change it.
That's symbolically
It's just
like
company change it.
no. Listen. I'm an investigative symbologist. I looked into the symbology of medieval times in ancient Egypt. I know this one. What? No way.
Yep.
The bird's never been there.
Who
This
could
is the
forget that
action.
bird? Look at the.
I know, the thing's fucking ugly. It's like begging
How
for
could
worms.
You forget that? Nobody could ever forget the buzzard and the cobra.
Everybody's
No
saying
way.
vulture and snake out there. Vulture and snake. No, never.
Nope.
Vulture and snake now. Isn't that wild?
Brian, can I ask you a question? Do you
Sure.
literally, excuse me, do you literally think that the moment the thinker changed, did the statue literally move and go like this? I mean,
I don't think you see it move. I just think I don't know how that, dude. It's so hard, like, because we've pondered this question a lot. Like, what if you put a 24-hour camera on it and the change happened? I don't think you'd get any footage. I don't know. I just think it would all of a sudden be the other way. I don't know, dude. I really don't know the answer to that. I pondered that myself.
I think that you remember the movie. You remember the movie the Adjustment Bureau?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's almost like there's some group dictating what's changing and what's not changing and why it's changing for specific reasons.
Yeah. And somebody wants to ask me about the Panama Canal, so let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
Okay, keep going.
I've traveled through the Panama Canal 4 times. So.
Oh, perfect.
Not this one. Not this one.
Nope.
Do you know about this? Or have you?
I have no. I know that. I have no idea about what you're about to say. So, I can tell you about the Panama Canal. There's various different locks. You enter from Vasco Nunez del Balboa, Panama, which is on the west side of Panama. You cross under the Bridge of America as you travel up the islet, and you go into the Panama Canal. There's various locks. Each lock ends with a lake, and it pulls you out into the Caribbean.
So, what direction does the water run?
The water is
West
running
to east.
from west to east.
You sure about that?
That's
not anymore.
Let me show you something. So I'm just gonna go to Google Earth real quick. I want to show you something, and I'm gonna describe before I show you people. I want to talk about this. Okay, now guys, don't pull up anything. Let me just tell you. All right. So when I first woke up to the Mandela Effect, right? We're gonna do a little backtracking. It was the Berenstain Bears, like it was for many people, right? It was the first thing I heard. Berenstain. I knew it was Berenstain. Didn't realize how big of a deal it was, but I knew something was up. Okay. At the same time, I was delving into some of these other things at the same time, so I kind of put it aside. This is what really woke me up to the Mandela Effect. This is what jolted me. Okay, let's zoom out. I'm gonna go to. I know I need to get my screen share up. I'm just trying to spin the little globe here the right way. So a second, and I have it. I think 1 second. So. You even told Anchor Memories. These aren't mismemories. You told Anchor Memories about the Panama Canal, the lock system, and the water. I'll tell you right now, the Panama Canal does not run east to west.
okay.
The Panama Canal, and I'll tell you why. If I was to ask you where South America was in relation to North America, what would you guys say?
Oh, it's south.
Of no,
It's right
south
under.
of America.
It's actually it's offset a little bit. So you have Central America and it's offset just a little bit. But yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get into a screen share right here and
Go ahead.
blow people's minds, including your own. Okay, South America has moved over about 1,500 miles to the east. It's barely underneath North America now. And in fact, the time zones are about 3 time zones over from where they were. Not only that, because South America has moved, because it's moved so far to the east, right? So far, 1,500 miles over or so, right? Look what's happened. Central America can no longer touch the top of it. Central America now touches the west side of South America, and the Panama Canal is north and south.
What?
Not east and west anymore.
When the fuck did this happen? What the fuck is happening?
This happened in 2016 for me.
If they could see my face right now.
Oh, they can. I can put you on the screen share. Look at this.
What the fuck?
Holy
You sailed through there. And I've talked to other people that have gone through that.
Dude,
Now,
that's not right. Dude, listen, Brian. Brian, I was in the U.S. Navy for a little under 10 years. I did 3 deployments in the South Pacific AOR, Central America and South America. That area where your pointer is at right now is where I operated. I know
Wow.
South America is more. No, the whole angle is off. It's supposed to be more tilted to the left. South America is almost directly under North America. The West Coast are almost directly even with each other.
Yep.
Joe,
And now, what I'll show you real quick is some old world residue that I have.
I
and then
love
we're going
this
to
shit.
discuss some other changes real quick. So check this out. So everywhere I have residue of South America underneath North America. You'll find this on all sorts of depictions. I mean, look at this. Panama Canal, east and west, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it used to be. But that's not how it is. Now, you can pull out a Mercator map. You can pull out a Gallup Peters. You can pull out a globe. You could even pull out a flat Earth map. It doesn't matter. They're all Mandela affected by this. Now, when we go back to it, that's not the only thing that shocked the hell out of me, okay? And you guys might not have saw it right now. Maybe some people picked it up because we had it on the screen. For me, Cuba used to be a small island to the southeast of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba, look at Cuba now. Cuba is all the way west over here now. It's on both sides, and it's as big as Florida. It's just on its side, and it's almost making a bridge to Mexico at this point. Look at Cuba.
Oh, I see it.
What? Well, hold on. And we noticed this a few
It
weeks
used to be here.
We noticed this as well. We noticed something else as well, and this was when the Haitian president died. Go over to Haiti, right? And
Where is that exactly?
Haiti,
Next to
right.
Dominican
Just
Republic?
go down to the right, just right there. Yeah, Haiti, right there. Haiti was also misplaced. So Haiti, I believe it was Haiti was his own island or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah,
Well,
Haiti.
Costa Rica was an island for me. Now Costa Rica's right here. Was Costa Rica always here when you were in Panama?
It was. I've been to
Costa Rica
I've been
was
to
an
Costa Rica.
Okay.
But that is just absolutely wow.
Next, you're going to
I
tell
got a
me
few more.
Epstein's Island doesn't exist.
Look at the size of the Baja of California now. It used to be about this big. Now it's double. Look how long it is.
Yeah.
It comes halfway down Mexico.
Ha!
And then the other big geography one that kills me is Italy.
It's no longer a boot.
So,
Let me guess. No longer a boot.
it's no longer a standing boot. It used to be a standing boot. Now it's cocked back like 45 degrees and it has a high heel.
You're right.
And it's almost connected to Sicily.
What the fuck?
No, again, I'll be the first one to tell you I don't trust any maps for whether it's political reasons, space agency reasons.
Right. It
whatever
could
you
just
want.
be
I don't
that they
trust
have a
them.
better mapping of the Earth, right?
Sure, or there could be malintent behind it, right? For whatever reason you want. But again, if you remember what I remember, all you guys got to do is go pull out a globe, an atlas in your house with old maps, whatever, and pull them out. You'll see that all the changes I'm showing you now are reflected in everything you have in your house, hard copies included. I did this as a Thanksgiving Day thing. We went to my uncle's house. We took a 2-hour ride, right? I get to my uncle's house. This is like 3 years ago. I walk in the door, and the kid's like, hey, I know about Pikachu's tail, like my little nephew. And I'm like, oh, really? Because his tail has a Mandela effect, right? He's like, oh, I know about Pikachu's tail, my little nephew. So I'm like, oh, really? So then my cousin brings up to the rest of the family at Thanksgiving. He's like, hey, what about Ed McMahon? And they're all going wild now because everybody knows he worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. So then I started telling them about geography changes, right? And explaining the Mandela effect. They said, why have Corey's 30-year-old globe in the basement? Are you telling me if I go get that right now, these changes are going to be on there? I said, I guarantee it. Wow. And they went and got it, and you guys already know what happened. They're all on there.
Man.
Unbelievable.
I've got to tell you, we did this show, Brian. And Josh, you got to go back into the video of this one show. I think we did it with Tumultuous Talk. So if you go back over to South America, or actually Central America, you'll see something that says San Andres or Andreas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you zoom in really close, okay, into that area, to the bottom left, I'll show you here. So we did the whole show on this because when you zoom in, it almost looks like a wheel and some tracks in there, okay? It's up north farther, Central America. Keep going.
Oh, I thought you said South America. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nope. Right in there, you're going to see, yep. Now zoom in and over to the left, back out a little bit, and then go over to the left. You'll see this wheel, okay? Zoom in now a little bit. So, where are you? Trying to pinpoint it. Okay, so you'll see.
There it is, right there. Go straight down. Straight down. Straight down, right there. Down. Go now. Pull the screen down. Other down. Other way. Keep on going. No. Nope. You're going the right way. You're going the other way.
Make it scroll upwards.
Yeah, correct. You're going the right way right now. Go a little bit to the right. Yep, down a little bit. Down. Nope, the other way. Sorry.
There it is. Right there. It is. See right that there. Wheel? All right, so we had an episode where we were talking about this was a lost civilization, and if you zoom out a little bit, see that circle right there?
See like the I-beam and the circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually did an episode where we were talking about this, and we used Google Earth and we zoomed in on it, and not one person was like, "Boy, South America and Central America look out of position." I'm telling you, this is the first time I've noticed it.
And I'm so happy that you had all these anchor memories about the Panama Canal and you remember it north and south. Like that's great, dude. I can't wait to air this on my channel later. And
I got my canal certificate upstairs. I believe it even says east to west or west to east on it. That probably doesn't anymore, right?
Oh. No, probably not. You mind if I hit the bathroom real quick and we'll continue?
Yeah, look, guys, we're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back with more Brian Staveley, guys. Hey guys, Josh here with the Redpill Project. I wanted to talk to you about My Patriot Supply. They're the #1 preparedness survival company in the United States of America. And they have everything that you're going to need in the advent of a natural disaster, a cataclysm, or whatever the heck might happen. Listen, Sleepy Joe and his commie cronies in Washington, D.C., they're doing some pretty crazy stuff. We don't know what they're going to do next. The global elite, they've thrown this world into a state of chaos. From the pandemic to the vaccine to who knows what's going to happen next. Anything from the global economic collapse, supply chain disruptions to food chain shortages. We're seeing it all, and we know something is coming. With the holidays coming about, I want to be prepared in case something does happen so I can take care of my family, and I know you feel the same way. This is why I use My Patriot Supply, and guess what? They got everything that you need, from Alexa Pure water purification to survival gear to long-term food storage that can last up to 25 years in your pantry. If you want to go check them out, please visit redpills.tv/patriot. Again, that's redpills.tv/patriot. And also, don't forget, let's go, Brandon. We are back, guys. So thank you for checking that commercial out, My Patriot Supply, guys. If you guys want to check them out, redpills.tv/patriot. Definitely get prepared because a lot of things are happening in this world. But I was just about to tell Brian about the Panama, well, about being in Vasco Nunez de Balboa, Panama. I've been to Vasco Nunez de Balboa, Panama, right where the Bridge of Americas is, probably 14 times. Do you know where the Bridge of Americas that connects Central America to South America? Do you know what country it connects with? Venezuela.
Yeah.
I know this because all the people that would come over, all the immigrants that would come over trying to get to America would first stop in Panama, and they'd get forced into human trafficking and prostitution. And they're all Venezuelan because you would have blonde hair, blue-eyed girls walking around. Go look at that map and tell me where Panama connects to.
Yep. It's not. It's Colombia now.
It's fucking Colombia, which means that it shifted that way.
Colombia used to have a U in it for me as well, by the way. Colombia doesn't have a U anymore. Used to have a U for me.
Yeah, Colombia does have a U.
No,
it doesn't? Oh, great. Oh, there we go.
No.
So it looks like we're from the same universe.
It's COLOMBIA now. Colombia. There's no U. Okay, let's
This
talk
is
about
awesome.
a couple of the historical ones. Let's just go a couple fast ones to get through people, some surface level ones, and then we'll ramp it back up. So, in this reality, Mr. Rogers never said it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Right.
I know he said it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Now he's always said it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. And when this Mandela Effect change happened, well, of course, we were going nuts about it because everybody's always known it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right? So the change happens, and then, people are trying to deny it for years. 2 years later, Tom Hanks comes out with a movie, and they say, we don't know the title of it yet, tentative title. Months go by. What do they title the movie? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Even though, and then CNN puts an article out. Yeah, they have a name for the Mr. Rogers movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, titled after the original theme song. They show a clip from the original theme song. He comes through the door and says this. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. Also, shady stuff around that, too. When that movie was filmed, you know that there was a death on set. You know who died? Supposedly the sound engineer. He went out for a cigarette on a second floor balcony and fell to his death. Who would be the first person to pick up on something like the change into this? The sound engineer, right? Yeah. Tom Hanks is involved in more Mandela effects than anybody you know. One of the biggest ones is the Apollo 13 flip-flop. That one actually changed twice. It went from Houston, we have a problem, right, to Houston, we've had a problem. Both the movie and the NASA archive.
Really?
Then it flipped back on the movie. The movie went back to Houston, we have a problem. The NASA archive still sits in past tense at Houston, we've had a problem. I got a huge video on this. Now, let's talk about JFK.
No, I clearly remember this. Houston, we have a problem.
100%.
If you bring up the NASA archive now, it says, Houston, we've had a problem. And people want residue? I showed James Lavelle, the guy that said it, the astronaut, and he tells you on video, Houston, we have a problem, is what he said. He quotes himself, quote unquote, wrong, but the same way all the Mandela Effect people remember. Are you familiar with JFK? You familiar with the Mandela Effect, the major Mandela Effect doing it?
No, go ahead.
No, but we are familiar with JFK.
Oh, perfect. How many people were in the JFK car when he shot? We'll start there.
JFK car when he shot.
2 drivers. 6.
2, 4, and 2. So Jackie and JFK, the governor and his wife, 2 Secret Service agents in the front, and 2 in the back.
Okay, so you guys remember 6. Interesting.
Yeah.
What about, that's what it is now. What about the Zapruder film? Was it shot in black and white, color?
Black and white.
Wrong.
Right.
It's always shot in color now. In this reality, it's always been shot in color. Guys, listen in. Not colorized later. I remember it black and white, colorized later. That's not what the reality is now. Now the reality is Zapruder was running around with the 1962, 1961 color hand cam. But here's the best part. How many other videos of the assassination are there?
1. There's only 1. Just a Zapruder.
I can show you 13.
What?
Can you show the shooter?
I can show you.
Jeez.
I could show you 13 other videos from all other people that had color hand cameras in 1963 running around and filming that assassination. Also, there's now audio that goes with it. There's audio called the Dictabelt recording that supposedly a police motorcycle was tailing the limousine and recorded the audio and recorded 4 shots. And based on the 3rd of the 4th shot, at one point, even though this was never the case in my reality, they had a commission on like presidential assassinations, And the decision stood for 10 years where they believed that there was a second shooter on the grassy knoll based on that audio. None of that ever existed in my reality.
No.
How about this? What was Oswald wearing when he came out of the courtroom?
Suit.
I don't
White
remember.
shirt.
Anyone else?
White dark suit, white shirt.
It was a
tie.
white shirt.
I remember a white T-shirt. Now
Yeah,
he
it's a
has
white
a
T-shirt.
sweater on.
It's a white
He
T-shirt.
has a sweater now he has a sweater with a collared shirt underneath it. So there's lots of changes with JFK for me. But one of the bigger ones, we talked about Black Tom, and we talked about how could this not be brought up on 9/11. There's an attack where we lost 5,000 people off the coast of North Carolina called Torpedo Alley that nobody's ever heard of.
I've heard of
Now in this reality, you have heard of this one?
I've heard, well, being a Navy guy, yeah.
Oh, so what have you heard about? What happened?
I've heard this I've heard of Torpedo Alley, and I don't know anything about it, but I've heard of Torpedo Alley.
Oh, okay, because you might have heard of Torpedo Alley, maybe you didn't hear the specifics of the attack.
Correct.
Because now there's supposedly when the German U-boats, they made it all the way over to the East Coast now, and now the East Coast is said to be the biggest battleground of World War II, and we lost 5,000 people, 500 of our ships to their 6 or 7 U-boats, sunk 500 of our ships, and we lost 5,000 people, mostly civilians who were on merchant ships. 5,000 of them off the coast of North Carolina. Now, people would come to me and say, Brian, well, you know that they just make this stuff up, and blah, blah, blah. So you know what I did? I showed video of the divers going down to the wreckage. And there is actually wreckage of these boats under there. But this story gets even better. There's a certain character that's associated with the Mandela Effect, Shazam. You know who he is? Sinbad? You've heard this, I'm sure? So we'll talk a little bit about him and what his involvement is, because he's totally paid off to do what he's doing. We'll get there, but we know he's a central figure in this. People, like there's Nelson Mandela, there's Sinbad, right? So he gets brought up right away. So the battle ended with, this is crazy, the battle ended with somehow some dog was like the hero of it. I forget what his little task that he did was. They heralded this dog as the hero. They took this dog. You can watch commercials of this dog. They took him around town, acted like they were giving him drinks and stuff. He was like an army hero. It looks like they're bringing around Triumph, the insult comic dog from Conan O'Brien. Like, It's absolutely crazy, dude, right? The dog's name, Sinbad. What's the chances of that? Then it gets better. So you know how people want to tie the Mandela Effect into CERN, right? And Sinbad is a surface level thing that they try and it's one of those things. You hear CERN, you hear Sinbad, you hear Nelson Mandela in jail, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to make a connection between, because now we got this German connection again. There's a lot of these German Mandela effects we'll talk about more, and we got this Sinbad connection. So I'm trying to connect Sinbad more to Germany. If you look in Hamburg, Germany, and you look at the particle accelerators there, there's a particle accelerator. They call it Sinbad. The best part about it is not only do they call it Sinbad, if you look at the acronym that Sinbad stands for, it would actually be Sybad, but they purposely use 2 letters from one word just so it could say Sinbad. Because they want to put this stuff right in your face to make you think that it's the particle accelerators doing it. But it's not. That's what they want you to think. So it's crazy to me. So yeah, 5,000 dead, Torpedo Alley. We talked earlier about the Hindenburg. Now there's 70 survivors. How about the Lindbergh baby? In our reality, my reality, Lindbergh baby was never found. That's why there's all these jokes about it.
Lindbergh baby.
Yeah,
dead.
Lindbergh baby was found after weeks in this reality. It wasn't even a long time at all. How about 9/11? That's my bread and butter. What book was George Bush reading in the Florida classroom? Do you guys know?
Upside down book.
It was upside down. It was about the dog, wasn't it?
No, it was called My Pet Goat.
My Pet Goat. Yep.
In this reality, it's always been The Pet Goat. Here's another 9/11 one. Maybe you guys know. I don't know how much you dabbled in it, but do you know what the name of the World Trade Center 7 building was? The actual name of the building? It began with an S, and it was owned by a group of brothers. No? Well, anybody that researched it a lot would know. It's the Solomon Brothers building.
Yep, Solomon.
And in fact, not only did I know that from all my research, but, I used to have a different co-host in the past. He's not with me now, my co-host, Justin. I was more of like the media fakery guy. He was more of like the occult connections and that type of stuff, symbology. And there was so many connections between 9/11 and all that. And, the 2 towers coming down and Solomon's Temple,
2 columns.
and
Jocko and Boaz.
And the Solomon Brothers building. but now it's the Salomon Brothers building, and the last name of these people has actually changed. Rodney King, famous thing, O.J. Simpson. Do you remember what his famous saying was?
Rodney King's fate?
Yeah, when he came out and did that
That's an
interview
old one.
after. Do you remember?
Well,
I'll tell you real quick. He
Yeah,
used to say, can't we all just get along?
Can't we all just get along?
Okay. And then this was parodied and spoofed everywhere now. If you go listen to what he says now, he says, can we get along? Can we just get along? Doesn't say can't, he says can, and he has a completely different inflection in his voice. It's completely freaking wild. Okay, and some movie changes. Star Wars C-3PO now has a silver leg. He was always all gold in my reality. In the original trilogy, he has a silver leg now. In the original trilogy, also, Chewbacca does not get a medal at the end of A New Hope. He used to get a medal. They used to walk up to the podium.
I remember this.
Princess Leia would put a medal over Han, give him a kiss on the cheek. Put a medal over Luke, kiss on the cheek. Chewie would come up. He was real tall, had to bend real far down. He did not get a kiss. Exactly. He did not get a kiss on the cheek, but she put the medal over his neck. He looked up. He roared, and it went to credits looking at the stars.
I want to show you. You're on Star Wars. I got to show you this. Hold on 1 second.
Yep. In this reality, Chewie does not get a medal. Not get a medal. Yep, C-3PO has a silver leg in this reality, guys. It's absolutely crazy.
That blew my mind when I first heard about it.
Yep. Lots of other cosmetic changes, so you might not notice. R2-D2 now has these thick brown wires on his legs. It's really, really strange. I don't know what he's getting over here. What do you got?
I have the original movie poster
Mm-hmm.
from Star Wars. And guess what?
Yep.
You're about to see it. And this, guys, this is it. All right, I'm going to show you this. I got to turn off my screen real quick. You guys got my calendar back there. And if you can see it, there's C-3PO with two gold legs.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Nice. And I have a replica here. This is the other one I was going to tell you, too. Volkswagen and C-3PO. For some reason, there's a lot of unchanged residue. Next time I move, I'll try and grab it. My friend bought me, because I had found some residue in Huntington Beach. It was a C-3PO figurine, but it's like a 12-inch one.
Yeah.
And it's intricately done. And, you know, it's all gold, right? And it's by Kenner, who made the official product since 1977 or whatever, right? But here's the thing. I'm specific about my Mandela Effect. So I can't just show you an image of C-3PO in all gold and call it residue. You know why? Because he's all gold in the 3 movies after the original trilogy now. Or the 3 before, whichever it is. I know one, he's got a red arm, but he's all gold in 3 of those other movies. So I can't just show any image unless it's like what you just did. You showed what was obviously specifically to the original trilogy, so that's great residue, right? I also have a doll that's like that because it came out in 1997. It shows the original trilogy guys on the back, and Phantom Menace didn't even come out until 1999. It was clearly representing the original trilogy. Another thing that has great residue, let's switch gears for a second. Famous avocado. Do you guys know this Mandela Effect?
No.
What's the famous avocado begins with an H?
Haas. H-A-S-S.
Spell it.
H-A-S-S.
H-A-S-S for you?
Yeah, I just bought it today. I just bought some today, so yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so for me, it was always H-A-A-S, 2 A's. Now it's 2 S's. It's another German change because it went from Haas, H-A-A-S, to H-A-S-S in German, which Rudolf Haas is. Now that means the word hate. Now, interesting residue on this one. So I looked on the website for, Kroger's, whatever it's called.
We got Kroger's here.
So I looked on there. Okay, so I found Haas avocados on there. H-A-A-S, the way I remember, right? So I tried to order it, and it kept telling me, it literally said this product doesn't exist and redirected me to, that's literally the words it used, right? This product does not exist, and it redirects me to the H-A-S-S, right? But I did find a store that said they had it or whatever, so we sent some people to the store, and damn, I gotta get all my.
And so, by the way, everybody on D Live is spelling it H-A-A-S. H-A-A-S.
That's what it was.
Yep.
And while you guys are watching, you guys can open another window and Google H-A-A-S. Watch what happens. You get spell checked. Okay. 2 things happened. I sent people to 2 stores, 2 Kroger's, right? In the frozen section, they supposedly was on the website, H-A-A-S, Haas avocados, a frozen version of it, right? two people, when one person came back and he showed me the picture, and it was the new way, unfortunately. The package, right? HASS. Somebody else went to a store in Florida. It hadn't changed yet. HAAS. I have it here. They mailed it to me. Not only that, Walmart still has it in their POS system. I sent two people into Walmart. They were able to buy HAAS avocados as far as the receipt says, but they've never existed in this reality.
So eBay, all the titles in eBay, they're a mix between HASS and HAAS.
Yeah.
Which means that people are putting these in there and getting them wrong, either one way or another. Yep.
Yeah, and another thing too, when you're looking at residue, so I'm not doing residue videos right now with you guys, but like when I do my residue videos, you'll notice when the Mandela Effect updates, like say I talked about
so I just clicked on this one. This is a New Zealand store, Jinnah's World of Fresh Produce, and they're spelling it April 3rd, 2020 is when this was posted. HAAS.
Yep. And they're wrong. And it's never been that now. You know what else has changed? How about Macintosh apples have never existed? Macintosh apples are now Macintosh. They lost the A. They're now Macintosh apples.
You want to know why? Because I live in Apple country. We
used to get Macintosh apples our grandma used to take us up to Awaka Park to the orchards to buy Macintosh apples.
Macintosh.
Yep. MAC right on it.
Yep. And you can find for residue, go look at apple farms. Tons of apple farms have Macintosh in their thing. Another one too. So Disney movies have a ton of changes, and one of them is more significant. Let's talk about Disney movies. Are you familiar with the Snow White change? It's probably the biggest. If you know that one.
I don't know.
No, Snow White. No.
Okay.
The mirror on the wall.
Yeah. Do you know the change?
It's not mirror on the wall anymore, right?
Yeah. Do you know the whole? First of all, can you say the whole phrase the way you remember it? I know.
Mirror on the wall. Who's the fondest one of them all?
No, Ferris.
Fairest one of them all. Yep.
Okay, so mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? So mirror, no longer ever been said in Snow White. Now it's magic mirror. But on top of that, a lot of people missed the ending change too. So like the other day, I showed a debunk piece. A debunk piece came out, right? And it said, oh, people think it's mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? But it's always been magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? They're misconstruing it with this, that, and the other. But then the ending changed, right? So their article's wrong because it actually now says magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all instead of them all. So it has another change in it that happened incrementally. So more Disney changes. How about this? Every Disney movie I owned when I was a kid, Tinkerbell used to fly over the castle and smash a wand like that, and the glitter.
100%.
Check your movies now. She's not in any of them. She doesn't fly over the castle.
My wife is a massive Disney fan. Watched every Disney movie growing up, and she doesn't know anything about never even heard of the Mandela Effect. I asked her, honey, what happens at the beginning to every Disney movie? And she says Tinkerbell flies over the castle and does a bloop. I said, show me. And she couldn't find it, and she was freaking out.
Yep. And on top of that, Tinkerbell has two Mandela effects. Tinkerbell is now two words, yet the U.S. Patent Office has it as one word. And I've done videos on that when they say we have no residue. It was definitely one word. And now it's Tinker space Bell. Cartoons everywhere. Beavis and Butthead is now butt-head. It's a hyphenated word, Beavis and Butthead. Look it up. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead, always been hyphenated.
Well, that's like Kit Kat, right?
Yeah, Kit Kat lost the hyphen. These dashes and apostrophe S's, we'll get into that. That stuff's going everywhere. Okay, another big one. Ready? Because we talked about apple farms, and this kind of ties me back into that. It has to do with another Disney movie. 101 Dalmatians. Dalmatians used to be spelled Dalmatians, and that's how the movie was spelled, and the breed of dog. They both changed, and the O has changed to an A. It's TIANS. Yet, again, just like with the apple farms, you can find dog breeders that think their dogs are spelled with an O. Dalmatians, the way I remember. But they're not anymore. It's with an A. Other Disney ones, what am I thinking?
Someone is having
right over
fun
my head.
messing with us.
MATIA.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yep. It's wild, right?
Dude.
Here's another one. Here's a good one. While you get your screen up. One of the biggest movies. How old are you, Joshua? You look about my age.
39. Yeah, 39.
40s, early 39. All right, so did you ever see Terminator 2 growing up?
I did.
For me,
Thanks,
that was a
Brian.
kick-ass movie.
Thanks for the compliment, Brian.
So-
Yeah.
Well, I'm 44. He looked about my
I'm
age.
49
sorry, dude.
or 48. I'm
Oh,
48.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Terminator 2, the subtitle was called Judgment Day.
Yes.
Okay, this is a huge Mandela effect. Judgment Day now has lost the first E in America. It has also lost it in the Terminator 2 poster. Bring up Terminator 2 box art. You'll see Judgment only has one E in it now, and that box art will look completely foreign to you. Not only has the word judgment, you will find, it's funny because I'll get attacked by, hardcore Christians that say their Bible can't change. And I'm just spreading this information. And they'll keep typing the word judgment with two E's. Open your Bible, people. Look for the word judgment. It has one E in it now. Even in your own Bible, on your own Terminator 2 movie. Look how stupid that looks with one E. It looks ridiculous, doesn't it?
You
Yeah.
gotta be kidding me.
That's weird.
Huh?
Ah.
Yep.
I just did find a Mandela effect, though, or a residual, if you want to call it that. Everything is saying Terminator 2 Judgment Day without the E between the G and the M. But there's this thing that says top stories, and it's from Comic Book. It says Terminator 2 Judgment Day Arcade 1-Up Cabinet, and it's got the E in it.
Yeah, and Penny in the chat says Dalmatians even gets autocorrected to IANS. Yeah, that's going to keep happening with all these Mandela effects. You're going to keep getting autocorrected. You people are not losing your memory. That's what I'm here for, too. You guys are not crazy. You're not losing your memory. You people are actually very smart and very observant. And that's why I don't understand why people get triggered when I try to point this out.
Yeah.
We're all going through this, and honestly, we have way more than the five senses that we're led to believe. Okay,
Agreed.
And let's tap into that. Let's explore it, guys.
Well,
Let's
so hold on.
explore it.
Let
How about this one?
me jump in
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Hey guys, so we were supposed to go to Fringe After Dark at 9:30, which is a subscription show. We're just gonna keep on going with this. Brian, I'm enjoying this conversation. We're just gonna let this roll, and afterwards we'll go to Fringe After Dark afterwards, which will be a late night, which is fine with me. Brian, keep on going, my friend.
All right, and if we ever get low on time, just at least give me like a 20-minute heads up, and I'll start to do what I need to do.
Oh! I found one for you, by the way.
What do you got?
I found some some residue right there. This is it's fan art, but it's the cover of the movie done in fan art.
Yeah.
Judgment
it's got-
Day.
Yes. Yeah. In fan art, and see they put the two E's because that's what they remember. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, like the dipshit.
And again,
the dipshit would
not
do
just-
all of that work and spell it wrong, right?
exactly. And people, again, when we're saying that this has changed, pull out your own hard copy. I'm not asking you to go online like he's doing now. This is a great reference, but to see your own versions and see it's not an online psy-op, all you got to do is pull it off the shelf. Pull your Bible out right now and show me how Judgment has two E's in it in your Bible. You can't. Show me how it has lion and lamb in your Bible, or two or more gathered in my name. You can't. You can make mistakes. Like somebody was really honest earlier. Valerie, you're awesome. Thank you. She made a mistake earlier. She said, I have the Bible. It's unchanged. I asked her to check. She did check. And she said, oh, you're right. It's not the version you said. So we got to be very specific about these. But these reality shifts are very real indeed. Let's talk about some music. Pink Floyd's most famous album. What would you say it is?
The wall.
Dark Side of the Moon.
That's my
Anybody else?
No,
You said what? Dark Side of the Moon?
Dark Side, yeah.
I said the wall.
What about you, Vince?
I don't know.
And this isn't a popularity contest. So Dark Side of the Moon. I want you to Google Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, and tell me what you see. It's not Dark Side of the Moon. Just give you that heads up right now.
That's not the most popular one.
It's the Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd, the Dark Side of the Moon. It was always Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, it's Dark Side of the Moon. The Dark Side. What?
Here's another one. Anybody that grew up with hip hop in my age, if you remember Bell Biv DeVoe, they used to be B-E-L. Bell, B-E-L-D-I-V. Now they're B-E-double-L, which is a pattern with the Mandela effect again. Mark Hamill now has two L's where he used to have one. It's Mark Hamill with two L's. Sybil Shepherd now has two L's. Another new one, just the other day, Cesar Millan now has two L's.
So
all these people are getting double L's in their name.
I got one for you too, by the way. This is one I noticed specifically. And Jay will actually know this. Jay was in this experience with me when we were younger. We took some hallucinogenic drugs, and we listened to the Pulse album, the 1994 Pulse tour. Thank you, honey. By Pink Floyd. And I have the actual album. It's laying around here somewhere. I can't locate it. But
can I interrupt? Let me interrupt real quick. There are greatest hits, and there are some UK versions that do say Dark Side of the Moon. But
this isn't Dark Side. This is a Mandela Effect that I noticed. So I'm listening to the Pulse one day here on YouTube, and I'm going, why is Learning to Fly playing right now? That's not the set list. The set list for the production, okay, opened up with Shine on Your Crazy Diamond and then went into One of These Days. And then Astronomy Domain. It doesn't do that anymore. Astronomy Domain is not even on the first album, and One of These Days is the last song.
Wow.
And I remember this
enough with the track.
verbatim.
Yeah, I'll bring that up on my show, though. I'm not familiar enough with the track list to do all that, but yeah, man, that's good stuff. Another huge one. Have you ever seen Nirvana Unplugged that they did right before Kurt Cobain died?
Absolutely. Meat Puppets.
That's a great.
So, okay, that was amazing. Do you remember the Unplugged MTV? They're all on the stage.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What color were the candles that were surrounding them?
White.
You better Google that one, buddy. They're all black now. They were white. They're all black now. And they're so black and spooky looking, it's almost like you can't even see them. You can just see the flames. Nirvana Unplugged. Google it and play a little video, look at it, whatever. All the candles are black now.
No, wow, man. That's crazy. Isn't that just crazy? And I bet if you asked Dave Grohl what color they were, I wonder what he would say. I can't show this, guys. You're going to have to go do it yourself. I'm gonna look for the candle, and once I find it, I will let you know, and I'll show it, but I can't play the music on here.
I got another one. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. Familiar with it?
Yep. Oh my God.
One of my favorite songs from the Peppers. Yeah.
Look at there. Look right there, guys. If you look in the back, look at all the candles right there. They're all black.
Sometimes I feel like my only friend.
There you go.
Right. Okay.
City
Ready?
of angels. The city of...
I love you, man. I love you, especially since you don't know the words.
You're gonna tell me the words are wrong now, right?
Yeah. So let's do it again. It's the city I live in.
The city of angels.
Lonely as I am.
This is the best video, man. And why is it the City of Angels? Where is it based?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
And that's why it's the City of Angels, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What if I told you it's never said the City of Angels, and now it's the City of Angel, singular? Who's the angel? Play it. Now you can't. You probably don't want to play it right now, but play it later. Yeah. City of Angel. Even check the lyrics. It's singular. I got another one. Talking about the S dropping. Here's another one you'll definitely know.
Oh, Brian, time out. Do you remember it as Angels?
I know it was Angels. I know it was Angels because it's the only thing that. First of all, this sounds like a dumb anchor memory, but it's my anchor memory. I used to wail the hell out of that song on the plastic guitar on Rock Band back in the day, right? I used to sit there and wail away. It was City of Angels, but it also had the lyrics on the screen. And of course, it's the City of Angels. He's doing a song walking through Los Angeles in his music video. I got another one for you that's even crazier on the similar level.
Well, so genius.com. I'm looking. So here we're seeing City of Angels. Mm-hmm. These aren't official. This is genius.com. AZ lyrics are saying City of Angels. But let's say
play
official.
The song. You'll hear it though. Yeah. If you put in Under the Bridge official lyrics video, you could probably get away with playing 10-15 seconds of it. You'll see. Yeah. It'll put it on screen and you'll hear it. And the interesting thing, there's 2 live performances with them in South America. For some reason, it happens a lot in South America. When live performances are done in Spanish-speaking countries, these people have a lot of residue in their performances, and they're singing with like 100,000 people outside. The entire crowd and the people on stage performing the song are singing City of Angels.
Huh.
Interesting.
I got another one for you. The song Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. You familiar with it?
Yep.
Doesn't say Painted Black anywhere in the song. It used to say,
I got a little
red
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
He used to say, I see a red door and I want to paint it black. Now it says, I see a red door and I want it painted black, as in having somebody else do it for you. And I got Rolling Stones live on stage in 3 performances singing it the way I remember. I see a red door and I want to paint it black.
I see a silhouette though, and I want to.
2 years ago, they tried to mock the hell out of us at the Super Bowl. Mandela Effect. They had the Volkswagen logo the old way. They had Missy Elliott come out for a Pepsi commercial and sing Painted Black. And she came out, and it was like a rap version. And she's like, I see a red door, and I want to paint it black. That's what it was. That's not what it is in this reality. The other one I was going to tell you, though, music, Jewel, Who Will Save Your Soul, right? Who will save your soul? Now she says in almost the entire song and all the choruses, there's a couple small exceptions. Who will save your souls? Plural. The title is still Who Will Save Your Soul if you listen to it, and it's very pronounced. Who will save your souls? So they got the city of the angel. What is it? Dark angel? Is it Lucifer? I don't know. Could there be messages in all these?
Yeah.
Maybe. How about California Dreamin'? I get down on my knees and I began to pray. It now says, I get down on my knees and I pretend to pray.
Huh. I love it.
Yep.
Damn, dude.
We are the champions. We are the champions. Doesn't say of the world at the end now.
Yep.
Now, here's where the debunkers will say. So for instance, there's 2 performances you can show of a great residue with Freddie Mercury and all the boys. They're at Wembley Stadium in like 1985 and 1986. They're on stage. They sing it the way I remember, of the world, right? Now that's never been on the regular album. The debunkers will say to me, well, you just learned it from that, blah, blah, blah. I was like 8 years old and I didn't have internet in 1985. Like, I didn't learn it from that. I learned it from my uncles playing in the car. Every bar I grew in when I grew up, like, I learned the album version. Like, I didn't learn the live version.
The radio version of the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another one, big one. My friend Tommy was in the chat, reminding me earlier. This is one that I find more residue of anything. So, you said you were in the military?
Yeah.
You say that?
Yeah, Navy.
What color stripe is supposed to be underneath the box on the U.S. flag? Under the blue.
So, okay, say that again. What color stripe is supposed to be under the box?
And don't look at your flag. But what color stripe is under the blue? White or red?
Hold on. It would be alternating red, white, red, white, red, white, red.
Yeah? You better look at a U.S. flag right now. Bring it up. This is the huge one. There's residue for this everywhere. I covered almost every show. You were in the military. You remember red. I remember red stripe under the blue. It's a white stripe. It's
There's
white.
one right behind me.
It's white.
It's white now.
What?
It's white.
It's just
And this residue's everywhere. You should see when I go to these beaches and stuff and I do films, like hats in the beach shop, T-shirts, red under white, people making sculptures, red under the blue, red under the blue, red under the blue. It's everywhere. Now it's white under the blue, and it has been the whole time. Except there's a couple exceptions, like there's a special version, like 200 years ago, commemorative type thing. Other than that, they're all white under the. Look how off that looks now. That's not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Flags around the world. Look at the Union Jack for the UK. Now it's unsymmetrical now, just like King Tut's headdress. This whole reality is unwinding and becoming unsymmetrical. And the red stripes that were inside the white crosses on the Union Jack are now offset like this. It's completely strange.
Pull it up.
Are you serious?
So let's get into a little bit of why
yeah.
then. So, look. Whoa.
Hey.
Whoa.
Yeah, and somebody asked me to show. Yeah. Isn't
What?
that wild?
Look at that.
No.
No way. No way. That's a mind fuck,
unsymmetrical
man.
letters. Yep.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Let me take the screen. People are asking to see what it looks like red under the blue. This is what I remember. I ran into this guy at I think Venice Beach or Ventura Beach. I get them mixed up. I spent a lot of time in Cali last year. Look at his shirt. red stripe under the blue. This is how I remember it. That's what resonates with me. You guys have no idea how much residue I have. I probably got like 200 pictures. I'm not going to obviously go through them all, but I mean, hat. Look at this hat that I found in the beach shop. Red stripe under the blue, right?
Yep.
Oh wow.
All right, we'll just keep going. Red stripe under the blue.
Yeah, that's the way it's
But it's
supposed
always
to be.
been white in this reality. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. But it's always been white.
You
in
know
this
why
reality.
it was red?
This was my doctor. Listen, when COVID started, I went in and talked to my doctor. First, I started talking to him about the current thing that's going on. But then I asked him, oh, so you're getting your orders from the CDC, blah, blah, blah. On camera, I said, so what does the CDC stand for? He said Center for Disease Control. Not only that, he gave me his business card. Red stripe under the blue, baby.
Well, so hold on. I want. Do you know why it's red under the stars, under the blue?
They call it the blood stripe.
That's right. It's the blood stripe. It's the blood of those who gave their life for our freedom to hold up the Union.
And now think about this. What I told you about Germany kicking our ass with Black Tom and Torpedo Alley. Maybe the white stripe has some significance, and maybe it's going to turn out that we didn't allegedly win that war, whatever that was. Right.
You know, it's interesting
Red stripe
too.
Under the blue. I find this everywhere. Every store I go to, dude, I'm surrounded by this. Like,
so do you know about the Q stuff, the QAnon stuff?
Yeah, I think it's all trash.
Okay, well, I'm probably the subject matter expert on it. I can tell you it's not trash, but I want to tell you about something. There's a post out there where he actually says they're literally changing history.
Yeah.
And it's the truth.
So, okay, this is the best one. So, I got to give you a little story. Let me shut my screen share off, and we'll come back to this flag resident, right? This is the biggest one. This is my personal one. This is going to blow your mind. My neighborhood changed. So, I have a whole series of videos on this. You guys will be blow your mind if you watch it later. My whole neighborhood changed in the city I'm from. It was called Centerville. Now, when people Google this later, you got to be specific because you will find a town in Massachusetts called Centerville. I'm not talking about that. I come from Lowell, and there's a neighborhood that was called Centerville. That neighborhood reality shifted about 3 years ago. I was with my boss. I went to Top Donut, which was actually in that picture. You'll see it in a minute. I don't want to show you the picture yet. Went to Top Donut. We go to the drive-thru. It's like 8 in the morning, getting donuts and shit. I look down in the bag. I'm sorry. I keep swearing on your show. Is that okay?
Oh, you're fine.
A couple.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I'm trying not to be excessive. But I open the bag, and, I'm looking at my donuts or whatever. And I hear him going, real confused, Centralville. I look up and I look at the stone monument in front of me, and my neighborhood says Central instead of Center, Centralville. And I'm like, right then, and this is like maybe 6 months after I started making Mandela videos, but I had been in it for 3 or 4 years looking at it. So like, this is starting to hit me hard. I knew what's going on right here. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm finally having a personal change. I can't say nothing to my boss. He's going to think I'm freaking crazy, right? So now I'm stuck going to work with him for the day, waiting to get home. Sure enough, it changed. Not only did I find residue, you know what I did? Live on the air, I called every business in that neighborhood, from the donut shop to the jewelry shop to the pawn shop to the hardware store, asked them what neighborhood they're in. Centerville. I called every cab company, to the point some of the cab companies, they thought it was a ridiculous question that I was asking them Centerville. I filmed Uber drivers and brought up how, isn't it, they said they're from Lowell. I said, oh, what neighborhood are you from? Centerville. I said, isn't it weird that your GPS says Centralville? They're like, yeah, that's really, really, really strange. I even called City Hall, okay? But here's the craziest part. So the stone monument that was reality shifted, that set this whole thing off, that I know that my neighborhood changed, the freaking monument has the old reality American flag on it. Not only does it have the old reality American flag etched in stone on it, and this thing reality shifted the name, this is in a Veterans Park, which you'll see with the next picture, surrounded by all new reality flags stuck in the ground. They're all white stripe under the blue in the ground, and the one on the flagpole, but this one has the red stripe on the stone monument. That's basically the central focus of my local change. Here it is. You should say Centerville. Wow. Now it says Centralville. And look at the white stripe right here. And there were a whole bunch of other ones that I have more pictures of, all littered around it. Okay.
Wow.
Now here's some great residue. So you go in places like Dollar General. Here's some tents, red stripe under the blue. How about this? The WWF US Championship. Right after I made this video, they changed it. I'm not saying they did it because of my video, just timing. But 2 years ago, this was their US Championship. red stripe under the blue. Where do you see their intercontinental title that they had? South America under North America, Panama Canal, East and West on the WWE Intercontinental title. Let's continue. More hats, red stripe under the blue. Let's see. Red stripe under the blue, somebody's sticker on their car. It's everywhere, dude. Red stripe under the blue.
It's supposed to be everywhere.
With a button with a freaking white stripe on it, dude. Like,
what the
it's
fuck?
insane. Red stripe under the blue. Red stripe under the blue. American Airlines, they even sell tie tacks and tie pins still that they give to their pilots. Their pilots' official tie pins have red stripe under the blue on it. They give it to their employees, American Airlines. Red stripe under the blue. Again, anybody's not following along, it's always been white stripe under the blue. But why does everybody remember red, including myself, including our military buddy here, and the rest of them? Red stripe under the blue. We could do this all day. I'll start to speed up. It's everywhere, dude. Simpsons and the Family Guy, full of residue. Amazing. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Grandpa Simpson, the police come, and he's like, I am the Lindbergh baby. I am the Lindbergh. Well, that makes no sense if the Lindbergh baby was always found. It's been dead the whole time, right?
Yeah.
The jokes make no sense. Full of residue. Red stripe under the blue. We could do this all day. I won't spend too much time on it, but red stripe under the blue. I mean, I've got like 1,000 images. I take these myself when I go out. They're everywhere. I don't buy all these products because I'd be broke. I take all these photos of red stripe under the blue. This is, I'm in the photo. Look at red stripe under the blue. Red stripe under the blue, right? Everywhere, dude. This is how it was, man.
I'm trying to think where my flag is. I actually have a flag that flew on my ship in 2005. And it's somewhere in my house, and I just don't remember where I put it.
Well,
it's upstairs.
Any actual flag that we found has changed. This is that's like the original. All the flags. There's an intelligence behind this Mandela Effect. It's quirky. It makes mistakes.
Well, let's talk about what that is. Let's talk about theory and why.
Hey, I got to work tomorrow, so I got to bounce. But Brian, it was a really pleasure. I hope to have you back on. You're a great guest. Everybody else,
buddy.
Take care.
See you, Jay. Be well,
Take
man.
care, Jay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into
this
theory.
is
Let's
endless,
talk.
right?
Let's talk about why.
Cool. Let me just throw a couple other things. There are anatomy changes too. I'll throw a couple at you real quick. Why is a kidney punch in boxing illegal?
Why is it kidney punch? Because it's behind the back.
Yeah, not anymore. You better look at where your kidneys are. The kidneys in your body have changed. They're no longer exposed in your lower back. Now they are actually up, protected behind your rib cage. You used to say the Pledge of Allegiance like this while you look at that flag with the red stripe under the blue because your heart was in the left side of your chest. Your heart is now dead center, protected behind your sternum. Also, old rock albums used to depict snakes going in one eye and out the other eye of a skull. That makes no sense now because now your eyes have a slate of bone behind your eye socket. That was never there before. And there's other anatomical changes. Your kidneys are protected behind your rib cage now. They're no longer in your lower back.
Really?
No BS, dude. Yep.
Anatomy.
Makes the whole reason of a kidney punch being illegal completely irrelevant.
I was an amateur AAU competitive martial artist for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Brands. I know you want to get in theories. Let me run down some brands real quick. Bragg's apple cider vinegar never existed. It's always been Bragg now. Jack Daniels always has an apostrophe S now. It used to just be Jack Daniels. It's Jack Daniels with an apostrophe S. Mad Dog 2020 never existed now. It's always been Mogan David. The alcohol, there's a lot of alcohol changes. Hypnotic, being HYP, that alcohol, there's no Y in it anymore. Google it, people. We talked about Haas avocado. We talked about Macintosh apples. Depends, the adult diapers lost the S. They've always been singular. Depend. Fruit Loops has always been spelled F-R-O-O-T now. Little Tykes, L-I-L-T-Y-K-E-S. They make kids' little cars and stuff. T-I-K-E-S now, not T-Y, even though we all remember that. How about Charles M. Schultz, the guy that wrote the Peanuts books? Now he's Charles M. Schultz. There's no T in his name anymore. Just like F-A-O Schwartz store in New York, no T in that. Yeah, Charles M. Schultz is now Charles M. Schultz, including the airport named after him, the museum named after him. Kit Kat lost the dash. Everybody says Home Depot. It's never been the Home Depot. Now it's always been the Home Depot. Converse All-Stars, the Chuck Taylors, the stars, not the stars, but the logo on the ankle. It's now on the inner ankle. You can't even see it. What type of marketing is that? It's always been on the inner ankle. You can even look at the old Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J advertisements and posters. Inner ankle. Skechers never had a T now. Spalding basketballs, SPAU, never had a U now. Always been Spalding. Chick-fil-A, now it's CHICK. It used to be CHIC. It changed a few times. That A is now capital where it was lowercase. Jiffy Peanut Butter never existed now, even though restaurants down south sell Jiffy Peanut Butter burgers with the logo of the Jiffy, the way it used to be, cartoon drawn on their menus. John Deere is now DEERE. Okay, how about this one? Oscar Mayer Wiener is now Oscar Mayer instead of Meyer, so it's M-A instead of M-E. M-A-Y-E-R, and the word wiener used to be W-E-I-N-E-R. Now it's W-I-E-N-E-R. The I and the E have flip-flopped in it. Completely crazy. Here's another one.
My wiener has a
Your
first name,
car.
it's O-S-C-A-R. My wiener has a second name, it's M-E-Y-E-R.
Yeah.
Nope.
So now we talked about automobiles earlier. When you used to look in your rearview mirror, it used to say objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear. Now it says it as a fact and always has. So now it says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. You can check your own car, guys. I don't care if it's 40 years old. Go look at your mirrors. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Also, yield signs, for me, they used to be yellow. In this reality, they've been red and white since 1971.
Hold on.
Things. Yeah.
No, hold on. Yield signs.
Yep.
They're not red. What? No! You just ruined my day! Oh my god!
This is trippy, dude.
Yield signs, no way. They're yellow. Always yellow. It's a caution sign.
Yep. Now it's red and white. It looks like a stop type of thing. It's crazy, right? Here's a few more, right?
The dude's actually got one here. Yield it right away. Yep. Yield.
They were yellow for me.
Yeah, me too.
Daylight savings time never existed. Now it's daylight saving time. Halley's Comet never existed. Now it's Halley's Comet with a double L and a short A. Werner von Braun, the head Nazi rocket scientist guy, used to be W-E-R-N-E-R. Now he's W-E-R-N-H-E-R, like Wern Her, okay? The little yellow books, if you were late for studying for an exam, and they would bring you up to date on it. Do you remember what they were called? Began with a C? Yellow and black books, kind of like a summary of a topic.
No.
No.
It used to be called Cliff Notes.
Oh, yeah, Cliff Notes, yeah.
Now they're called Cliff's Notes. Always have been. Dan Aykroyd now has 2 Y's in his last name. Keenan Ivory Wayans, the guy from In Living Color, used to be K-E-E-N-A-N. Now he's K-E-E-N-E-N. This is a pattern where 2 E's and an A will turn to 3 E's. If you look at the word cemetery, it used to be C-E-M-E-T-A-R-Y. There's no A in cemetery now. There's 3 E's. You better look.
Oh. Damn.
Flavor Flav, the rapper, used to be Flavor Flav. He's now Flavor, spelled the proper way. Flavor, not flavor. Smokey the Bear has always been Smokey Bear now. Kelly Blue Book, where you get used car prices, K-E-L-L-Y, is now K-E-L-L-E-Y. Christopher Reeves is Christopher Reeves. Sally Fields is Sally Field. Gandhi used to be G-H-A-N-D-I. Now the H has moved all the way near the end, and it's G-A-N-D-H-I. Let's see what else. Okay, the thing that people use as spice a lot, turmeric. It used to be turmeric, T-U-M-E-R-I-C. It's now turmeric. There's 2 R's in it. Here's the biggest word change, one of them, dilemma. The word dilemma used to be D-I-L-E-M-N-A. It had a silent N. We used to learn to pronounce it wrong so we wouldn't forget the silent N. There's no N in dilemma anymore. We're supposed to believe that we all misremembered and dropped the silent N in a freaking word where it doesn't belong. It's now 2 M's in dilemma. How about this? Another one. Lots of changes in the English language. The word a lot isn't a word. A-L-O-T isn't a word. You'll get corrected. It's spaced out. There used to be a lot, like you could have a lot, and then a lot. There's no more a lot. It doesn't exist anymore. How about another English language rule change? I want you to Google the movie Bridget Jones' Diary. So anytime you used to end a word in an S, a proper word, and you wanted to make it possessive, you would put an apostrophe after it, but you would not put an apostrophe S. Now S apostrophe S is proper English.
It is?
Yep.
Bridget Jones's. What the heck?
Yeah. That's proper English now.
No, that's not. It would just be no. If you want, that would just be Jones apostrophe. You wouldn't do the double S.
Exactly, but now you can do both. Oh, here's a great one. What's the penny sign look like? If I said draw a cent sign, how would you describe drawing a cent?
It's a C
sign?
with a line through it.
Now draw a dollar sign.
It's a dollar sign is an S with 2 lines through it.
Now look at your keyboard and tell me what the dollar sign looks like on your keyboard, your physical keyboard.
Son of a bitch. It's one line.
What's it look like?
It's an S with
One
one line.
In this reality, the dollar sign has always had one line through it, just like the penny. No fucking way, okay?
No, it had
Guys, I'm not asking you to look at an updated phone. Look at your keyboard. Look at your typewriter in your house. The dollar sign will have one line through it.
Yeah.
It's wild, right?
So why?
Why? I think it's to expose the physical matrix that we're in and make people realize that we're on a spiritual journey. That's what I ultimately think it is, and that's why I think it hits so many topics. That's why we could do this all day. Like, I could get into cartoons. We haven't even got there yet.
Yeah.
And I could just go through tons of changes that will blow people's mind. And that's where people say, oh, it's insignificant, things like that. But obviously, you saw how I came in. I didn't start off with Curious George. We started off big to show people.
Yeah.
It's much bigger than that other stuff. But, a lot of people aren't interested in history and geography and even anatomy or the Bible. And you got to come at them with this. So I think the creator gives something for everybody to realize. Like Carmen Sandiego, she used to have a yellow trench coat.
Yep.
She's always had a red trench coat in this reality. Never yellow.
I'm familiar with that one.
I
Never
used to
yellow.
watch.
Shaggy never had an Adam's apple in Scooby Doo. I just did a video on it. It's old change too.
What's the
The
Pikachu?
Pillsbury Doughboy. Pikachu used to have like a black or dark brown spot on the tip of his tail. Now his tail is all yellow. The Pillsbury Doughboy used to have a blue scarf. Now he's all white scarf. Mickey used to have suspenders. Now he doesn't. Curious George used to have a tail. Never had a tail now. Here's a good one. Looney Tunes used to be spelled Toons. Now it's Tuns, like music, instead of cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny Toons was still spelled Tons, and it's based off the same freaking guys when they're younger. Even better, when we brought that up to people, Tiny Toons doesn't exist now. Tiny Toons lost the S since then, incremental change. Now they're Tiny Toon Adventure. It's crazy. I got to run to the bathroom, though, and we can talk more theories. Give me 1 minute.
Dang.
This is awesome.
There's so many, dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many there are.
This is nuts. I'm absolutely loving this.
Oh, Idaho Patriot said they have a Pikachu pillow with a black tail.
There you go.
Damn.
Beer break. Yeah, this is awesome. So I want to get more into the why aspect of it. I want to know why. I want to know why he believes, and I mean, the breakout of the Matrix is one understanding of it. I think that fundamentally our reality is like that, but right now we have so many people realizing of how the world actually is and how the world is all construed. So people are waking up more and more to it. Therefore, all these different realities start converging.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
All right. So let's discuss a little bit, because we got about 20 minutes. So discuss to me a little bit about what's your theory on it? Creator, reality, matrix. So, okay. So in your mind, what's the creator?
In my mind, what is what? The creator?
The creator.
The creator itself. I think it's whatever the creative forces that created this earth and this existence that we live in. And to think that I'm not saying you guys think this, but some people like, oh, well, it's to think that the creator can't change things when the creator created this place, I think is ridiculous.
Agreed.
I think that there's some rules of the universe where the creator intervenes in certain ways, maybe not directly doing things for us, but showing us signs and guiding us. And I think these are little clues to do that, to raise our awareness and basically expose this artificial matrix that we're in. I do like to say this, though, for people that believe it's CERN or D-Wave computers or Yeah, we didn't even touch on that. But any of these other theories, you guys are awesome, man. I could be dead. I could be dead wrong. But what matters that's important is that we are recognizing the changes and trying to wake people up to it. And I could be dead wrong about my theories. You guys could be dead wrong about yours, or it could meet in the middle somewhere. But I do know that this is happening, and this is way beyond proven without a shadow of a doubt that this is happening. And anybody that says it isn't happening, you are living in serious denial right now, because we went through so many Mandela effects. I know all of them don't resonate with you, but you know a ton do. And you might say, well, that couldn't have changed, that couldn't have changed. But did you check yet? Because when you check, you're going to see that I'm legit about every single one that I said. Yeah. Every single one.
No. And more power to you, because you know what? That's what this is about. Is I'm aware that the Mandela was happening. I wasn't aware of how massive this was, of how deep this rabbit hole went. And, now I'm looking at it in a completely different perspective, but I have my theories on it. One of the theories, this actually arranged from David Icke, which I've interviewed quite a few times on the show. And David Icke always used to talk about how basically we're in like an augmented reality, is that our world is being manipulated by the archons, and there's some type of electronic digital cloak over our real reality, and that this can be changed and manipulated. And as cell phone technology has matured, 5G technology has matured, this reality starts to change. And basically what they're doing is they're testing our reality by changing subtle things to see how the updates are going so that's a theory. But, it goes back to the thing is the Matrix. And so do you think that we're in a simulation, or do we're like an augmented simulation?
Define what you mean by augmented simulation versus regular.
Okay, so easiest way. Regular simulation, you'd put on the Oculus, you sit back in your chair, and you're in virtual reality, and you think that you live in the virtual reality. Augmented reality is you put on your Google glasses and you walk around the real world, but your reality is now augmented in a digital sense, in a digital construct.
I don't know if I really believe it's either of those. I look at it more as like a body is a vessel. We are spirits in this physical body, living this experience. But like, if you were to tell me it's God simulation, I couldn't argue that. But I don't think it has anything to do with technology making it so we can. Well, no.
The technology is just an analogy. It's an analogy. Yeah, it's just an analogy of comparability, right?
Yeah, it could be like that. It could absolutely be like that.
Yeah.
I overall, I look at this as a huge test, and obviously the world's being very much tested right now. A lot of people are failing the test.
I agree.
I think those of us that not only see the changes but see a lot of other truths and have tried to stand in our truth and do the things the right way and do everything we can, to help people and empower people. I think we're the people that are going to graduate. And again, I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I don't think any of those people are doomed to hell. They're all great people, man. I got people in my family that are dead asleep, but they're great people, Yeah, I mean, I've done videos where I talked about how much my family frustrates me. They're so brainwashed and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? When I needed them, they took me in, right? Like anything I needed. So they're good people. They're not going to go to hell. They're fine. But they're not going to pass the test either. They're not ready. They're not even ready to entertain ideas like Mandela Effect, or like you had David on, you guys talk flat Earth, or imagine you can't even bring these topics up to some of these people. So their minds they're not ready for whatever
but what if this, so here's the thing, and this is one perspective that I hope that you can see as well, is that what if we are all experiencing it through our own reality tunnels?
Oh yeah, we could be. I believe that.
And for me, though, reality. For David Weiss, he lives on that flat Earth. That it is that flat Earth. And for me, I live on this globe Earth. And to me, it literally is a globe Earth because that's my reality tunnel. To him, it's a flat Earth tunnel, right? And there's that comparability. And the objective is not to compare the two and say, I'm right and you're wrong, but instead to realize that maybe we're looking at things through different reality tunnels.
Yeah. Well, personally, and this is going to trigger a lot of people because a lot of my people are flat Earth followers or whatever. I think flat versus globe at some point it can become a trap for a lot of people because you get trapped in the physical. You get trapped arguing over the freaking dimensions of the physical matrix. When
at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
Aspects like the Mandela. Yeah, it does to a point because people need to get to that point and wake other people up to it and realize all the lies and corruption, and that does help a lot of people realize creation and other things. But somebody like myself that's been to that point since 2014, man, that's old news, bro. I mean, that's just the physical realm. Let's keep going, you know?
Yeah. Now let's talk about the spiritual, because I mean, a lot of my research has been based on the spiritual realm, how we exist, what mind is, what the universe is based upon, that aspect. What is your conception in the sense when you say the spirit and the body,
Sure.
reality? Can you define those aspects for me?
Well, I think that, okay, so I think that we are the center of the universe and we are very special and we are put here for a reason. And I think that, you know, maybe there's other testing grounds. Maybe this isn't it, right? I mean, maybe there's like another dimension, like you say, like after this, that we spiritually ascend to. But I think before the creator is ready to let us do that, he puts us in these meat suits and sends us down here to see who's worthy of that, you know?
Possibly.
And I do definitely think when we die, we're not dead in the ground. We're energy that lives forever. We take other forms, whatever that may be. You want to ask me about reincarnation and stuff? I mean, I don't know how any of that works. I don't really have too many theories on that, other than I think a lot of us are going to pass the test and a lot of us are going to fail and come back. You know, they're going to come back as people or dogs, or I don't know. I would think people. You know, I don't know if that goes across different breeds, and I don't know how any of that works. You know, I just think they're going to come back and they're going to have to try again because I know. You know, I just know that a lot of them listen. There's a lot of people that are just complete script zombies. They just run a script, man.
Yep.
You never mind Mandela Effect and these other topics. You can't get them to question anything that they're told.
Why the fuck they're wearing a mask?
Completely shut down.
Or taking a jab in their arm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous, man. And I've been fighting really hard against that thing since the beginning. You know,
we have
and
too.
I can't believe what people have done. I can't believe how people have rolled over. And so good. Anybody that's watching this, if you're interested, check my videos. I filmed all of them. I mean, 14 planes with no mask during this. And always just shutting them down. No, everybody needs to stand up for it. We don't need to cover our face. We don't need to muzzle ourselves. And I am sorry. I've checked all the places, the hospitals, the testing, specific ones that they said were overflowing. First one I got to in Los Robos in California, they said it was overflowing. We got there to film. 19 freaking nurses and doctors came out on a fucking photo op in front of a sign that said that they were heroes. 19 of them during a pandemic? No, I don't think so.
Agreed.
So, before Mandela Effect, my thing, and we could talk about it another time. I'm not going to go all into that now. My thing is not getting people to live in fear over fake events, and that's what we keep saying over and over.
100%, man.
And it's terrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People cannot live in fear, and there's nothing to fear with the Mandela Effect. Think about all the things I said. Sure, there are people that are going to take great offense to some of the Bible changes, but other than words on a paper changing, what Mandela Effects have really been terrible and hurt people? None of them. There's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear in this world. We are going to be fine. We're going to be fine and protected. Is the world really screwed up right now? Yeah, but we don't need to start jabbing up, masking up, and being afraid to hug and breathe on people. We just had our third gathering of 400 people during this just 2 weeks ago over here. My co-host and the person who I live with, one of my best friends in the world, Karen, she's thrown 3 events of 400 or so people during this. No mask, no vax. Yep. Everybody come in, hugs for everybody. And it's crazy, dude, because they'll run around and say, it's the pandemic of the unvaxxed because the news will tell them that. Really? Well, let's look at it objectively. Let's never mind what I say. Let's never mind what the news says. Let's just go with reality. Like all the people that believe in what's going on right now, they know people that are unvaxxed and none of them are dead. They're all fine.
Yeah.
We're all healthy.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. It's the other way around, if anything, isn't it?
It is.
They're breakthrough cases. I mean, God, I want to smash my face into.
Very interesting. Sure. Yeah, interesting theories, man. When you start getting into the whole freedom thing, you start getting into the whole fear over everything else, freedom over fear. We're ready to my daily show, Monday through Thursday. Now, actually, just added one on Friday. It's called the Daily Dose. So interesting.
Yeah.
Yours is Dose of Reality. Mine's Daily Dose.
It's just sad. People won't research anything. I mean, if they would have just researched anything that we told them in the beginning about the PCR test is not being able to diagnose what's going on. I mean, about the death certificate scam, all this stuff. I mean, come on, people. Just take a look. Just stop believing everything down the line. Let's live in reality, right? Let's live in reality. What do you experience, right? Did you hear ambulances wailing all year round? No, you didn't hear none of that. Did you see bodies in the street, like they said, mobile morgues, bodies buried in sand? You know, one of my friends, Rachel, because we were all doing videos trying to expose this, when they said there were refrigerator trucks at that hospital in New York, she went there. There was nothing going on. There were no refrigerator trucks running. It's a complete joke, man. People cannot live in fear. You got to stop watching the media. The media is the biggest problem with the world. They have been manipulating everybody's minds, and to underestimate them would be a grave mistake. You're brainwashed. I'm brainwashed. You're brainwashed. We're all still brainwashed. We're all just at different levels coming out of it. And that's the important thing. People that say they're woke or they know all the truth, those are the people you steer clear of, because we're all living, you know? And there's always going to be more truth. Never mind just what you're into, what I'm into. There's stuff we haven't looked at yet, and there's going to be more stuff beyond that all the way to the end, dude. You know?
100%, man. We have a motto here at the Redpill Projects: never believe anything that anybody says, no matter who they are, what authority they proclaim, no matter what book they raise up or say what book it's from. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or the Pope or whoever the fuck it might be, unless you can prove it with your own
false
volition.
idols.
No false idols. That's right.
Dude.
Unless you can prove it with your own, you prove it with
Yeah.
your own volition, your own belief, and your own research. Period. Done. That's it.
And there's people that, you know, they go from false idols to people like the Pope or politicians or whatever, or celebrities or whatever. Even people in the truth movement, they idolize certain truthers and certain channels, and it's very dangerous. And then they just believe everything somebody says, and they lose their discernment. Everybody needs discernment. This idea of left, right, red, blue, China versus the USA, all these things is division, and they all give you like an ultimatum, like you're at this absolute side or this absolute side. You need critical thought that meets in the middle. You got nothing, dude. You know?
Yep. What, you're absolutely right, man. It's the world is at this turning point. It has a lot to do with, you know, for me, I did a video about a year and a half ago on Nostradamus's last prophecy. And it's these steel plates, these like 12 different steel plates. And I did this because there's alchemical symbology. So I did an alchemical symbolical breakdown of it, and showed how it was talking about the reorganizing of the universe back to a point of stability. And literally, that's exactly what we're kind of seeing here. And this unraveling of things, this disorder and chaos that's moving to a new point of optimization where, you know, humanity is going to wake up to these newer things that we haven't had in a long time. And when I say that in a long time, is do you know about the Tartarian mud flood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, one of my best friends, the Truth Seeker 69. You guys check her out, Truth Seeker 69 original on YouTube. She's been studying the mud floods and ancient architecture and stuff for years now. As have a lot of other people I know, like that I've had on my show, like Martin Liedtke and others. A lot of great researchers in that. That's not really my thing. I think there's a lot of validity in it. It just, to be honest, it just doesn't excite me as much as this does.
Well, so a lot of our research,
see it as valuable.
A lot of our research that we pointed to showed that. That there was a thriving civilization, probably 300 billion people on this planet less than 200 years ago. And it got invaded by something or someone. And this thing was most likely a parasite that infected us. We had to genetically alter ourselves in order to stop the spread of this parasite. When we genetically altered ourselves, it took us away from our longevity, our conscious memory, and all of our special powers that we used to have. Although we didn't kill all of it, and a few of them did survive. And the genetic alteration created, called an RH factor. The people that didn't get changed were the blue bloods, and they have risen up and obviously taken over power because they still have all those things that we don't. And you can even see evidence for this. If you go to the inventoriums at the turn of the century in the Chicago World Fair, you go and look at the catacombs under Paris, all the evidence is there that there is something major happened less than 200 years ago. And I think that a lot of what we're seeing now is exactly what you're saying, is we're waking up out of this matrix-style prison. Our DNA is unraveling back to where it naturally should be. And we're opening ourselves back up to this whole spiritual world. And a lot of us, I think, are just more awake, in a sense, than other people.
Yeah.
But we're still fucking drinking a lot of the Kool-Aid. And I think we're trying to help other people wake up as well. And some of them I don't think are ever going to wake up. But at least us that are, at least we collaborate together. And that's the most important thing.
And when you brought that up, there's something I forgot too. You brought up the tower. It reminded me of Star Forts, and the Statue of Liberty now sits on a Star Fort and always has, rather than a square platform.
That's right. And there's multiple Star Forts throughout the United States and throughout the ancient world. You can actually find there's an old video out there from the 90s of this guy that actually goes out there and shows you all the old Native American star forts.
Yep. So can I ask you guys a couple questions?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Just I want to know what was your first Mandela Effect, and maybe then the first one that made you realize it was a big deal, and your biggest one. Whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, Vince.
Because like I told you, Berenstein made me realize it. Cuba in South America and JFK kind of hit me at the same time. And currently Black Tom, Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. That's my biggest. So that stuff right there, those are mine. So what's up with you guys?
I think I heard about Berenstein and a couple other little things like that probably like 2 years ago, and did a little bit of research myself. But that's pretty much the extent of that. I haven't discovered anything personally.
So
you really introduced a lot. What about you, Josh?
I discovered a few. You want to hear one of the ones I should say discover because somebody did send it to me, but I was the first one to make a video on it. I did discover the Solomon Brothers building one. I discovered a few others ones. Are you familiar? Are you sports fans at all? Football? College football?
Not really.
Do you know what the Heisman pose looks like if I asked?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you do it?
Isn't that the Al Bundy?
Yeah, well, can you stand up and show me? I would love it.
Oh, my camera won't get it. I'm on a desktop and sitting down.
So what I remember the Heisman, he had one leg up in the air, his left leg up in the air, and the left like this, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the Heisman Trophy now, he's got both feet on the ground and his hands out in front of him like a stop sign, dude. It changed like a few months ago. Did a video on that one too.
Because Al Bundy used to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the college football any college football player that's in the running for the Heisman near the end of the year when they score a touchdown, they do the Heisman pose.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep. Interesting.
It's another statue that's changed, man. There's so many statues that have changed. There's Christ the Redeemer statues all over the world now. The Easter Island statues, a lot of them have hats now. It's really crazy, dude.
So, what was it? My first Mandela was the Hindenburg. When I realized something was wrong. The second one was the Berenstein Bears, because I used to read that when I was younger. It was the first book I learned how to read. And that was kind of, that was it for me. Then the Pink Floyd, obviously the Pulse Live from 1994. I listened to that album hundreds upon, probably thousands of times. And I turned it on YouTube one day, and I'm like, man, the set list is all wrong. I'm like, whoa, what if it's just a different one? And I'm like, this is the same album. And I literally go on Amazon and I find an old one that somebody's selling on Amazon, and it's got the set list that I remember, and every other new one has the new set list.
Wow.
Yep. And
never heard of that one. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird, but crazy, man. Well, Brian, we're gonna definitely have you back on. I mean, we could have you on all of our shows because you talk about a lot of the various topics that we talked about from this fringe aspect of it, as well as the kind of more of stand-up humanity aspect as well. That's what we do on a Monday through Thursday show. So I'm going to keep you in mind for those. I'm going to get your information from Amber there so we can communicate a little bit and maybe send some chats back and forth and get some dates down.
Cool.
But where can everybody find you, and what do you got coming up, man?
Yeah. Awesome. So the best place for everybody to find me now, first off, as you guys know, YouTube sucks with the censorship. So YouTube, even though I have still like 800-900 videos on there, it's not a good representation of who I am. I can talk about Mandela Effect or the shape of the earth. I can't talk about COVID. I can't talk about 9/11. I can't talk about psy-ops and other things on there. So I have moved over to what I've been doing. I've been multi-streaming a lot of places like you guys. I have moved over to Rockfin as my primary spot. There's a big misconception about Rockfin. People think you have to pay for every stream. 90% of my streams, and I have over 700 videos up on there, they're all free. It's just when somebody decides to make it premium, which I do like once every other week. So Rockfin, I also multi-stream to Twitch, Twitter, DLive, Facebook, and sometimes my YouTube channel. So the easiest way to find me would be to search Brian S. Staveley on any of those platforms. Or if you go to Dose of Reality Show, just doseofrealityshow.com. You can find all my links on one page right there, from different platforms to donations to backup YouTube channels to emails to Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to find me. Doseofrealityshow.com. But again, if you don't want to do that, whatever your favorite video platform is, just search Brian S. Staveley or Twitter or Facebook, whatever. You'll find me.
Perfect. Thank you much, Brian. Much appreciated. We got your links all distributed. I see everybody posting those. We posted those from Pilled.
I do have a couple playlists that are very valuable. I have a Mandela Effect shortlist I should mention. If you go to my channel, maybe I could just do the quickest of screen shares. I have it ready already. This is my Mandela Effect shortlist. You'll see I have almost 100 videos here. Here's the video breaking down Black Tom and Statue of Liberty, right? Here's the Matthew 18:20, and just down the list. Each one represents one of the Mandela effects we talked about, or maybe one we didn't get to, and I completely go into it. I show you tons of residue and give you my take on it and all that. And if you just go to, you'll see I have other stuff too. My Awakening series, I interview different people in the community, and I get their personal story, and I think you guys will really enjoy that. Everybody has a different take. I've done almost 60 of them. Here's my videos in California, searching for the pandemic, if you will. I did like 30 videos out there, talking to business owners, people, going to beaches, all the stuff I told you about. Agents Against Humanity. Here's Centerville Effect. This is my personal Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
Here's a series of videos I made on it. And this is if you went to, I'll just show you briefly. If you did go to my Rockfin, or my Odyssey, I didn't mention Odyssey. There are other playlists that I can't put on YouTube, such as the Corona psy-op, right? Such as my no mask on the plane videos, and all my 9/11 content going back to 2010. I have archives on my website from 2010 and all my videos from 2014 forward, breaking down 9/11. You can find. I talk about a lot of stuff, dude. Basically, so
awesome.
Just search my name, guys. You'll find me. Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for letting me come on, dude. It's been a good time.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And just stay on 1 second, and we'll talk a little bit more. Everybody else, hey, guys, we'll go to Fringe After Dark subscription show. If you're interested in that, it was sent out in the email. If you just go to the social, redpill.com, our private social network, or redpillpatrons.com, you can find us there. All the information will be over there on how to get the subscription. It's just to get to the Fringe After Dark, it's $10.99 subscription a month, and you get the Zooms every day with everybody else that's going on, as well as the After Dark chats that we do. But tonight we'll be at Fringe After Dark, and that'll be at about 20 minutes from now. So about 22:20 Mountain Standard Time, 20 minutes after midnight Eastern Standard Time, and 9:20 p.m. Pacific Time. We'll see you then at Fringe After Dark. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Take care. Much love.